welcome to Spurs Vision TV. Good evening to all you guys in Asia. While I'm just setting up my screen on this side here, right? While waiting for the game to start, right? So, and of course, good afternoon, you guys in Europe, and of course, good morning to all you guys in the Americas, right? Welcome. And I said, first of all, I'd like to thank all of you guys for your support, right? For the 2,000 overviews in the last live telecast that we did, right? Where the game between South Korea and Ghana, but of course Korea lost. But the good thing is that Korea got through, right? And I'm very happy, right? Very proud at the moment. We have three Asian teams in the round of 16. But of course, Australia lost to Argentina, right? But as we can see, right, tonight Japan is going to play Croatia. So this is one of the matches I picked up because being Asian, I will be supporting Japan. But of course, we're going to say, Scott M is going to say, let's go Croatia, right? And then he'll say, hopefully, can say that on an Asian person. You can say whatever you want, Scott, right? And then, of course, Scott, big up to you, right? But guys, at the moment now, we are in the knockout stages in the World Cup, right? This is where it's crunch time, right? We'll find out who will be going through to the quarterfinals, right? We already have 4 teams already in the quarterfinals, right? We have England, we have France, we have Argentina, and of course, who's the next one that Argentina is playing? Argentina be playing the Netherlands, right? The Netherlands, right? And a lot of people say don't call them Holland, right? Because Holland is just part of the Netherlands, but of course, the Netherlands is playing Argentina, right? Going through, right? There were a lot of surprises, right? Teams going through into the last 16. Teams like Morocco, right? And of course, South Korea, Japan, right? Australia was the big surprise too, right? Being there. And but they're out now. They won't be in the quarterfinals. And of course, uh Argentina beat Australia 2-1. I call Netherlands beat Poland, right? And of course, England beat Senegal, and of course, France, they beat, who did they beat? I can't remember. So many of the teams now, but all we know is those are the teams are true, right? And now today we have Japan versus Korea, and of course, this is the big game that we hope that Japan can pull another surprise. But I'm torn between Perisic and Japan at the moment, having Asian, and then there's a Spurs player in there. But let's see how that goes. It's gonna be an exciting game, and of course, let's see what will happen during this game, right? And of course, as you can see, the lineup is down, being scrolled through, right? Croatia has Livakovic, Juranovic, Lovren, Guardiol, Barisic, Modric, Kovacic, Kramaric, Petkovic, and Perisic, right? As for the Japanese, they have Gonda, Tomiyasu, Yoshida, Taniguchi, Ito, Endo, Morita, Nagatomo, Doan, Maeda, and Kamada, right? And not to talk about Tomiyasu, we will link to Tomiyasu for the whole of one summer transfer window, which in the end ended up at Arsenal, right? But let's see how maybe the Japanese fitness will pull them through and get them to the next round, or whether the wily old Croatians can actually show up and do something, right? Don't forget the Croatians were the finalists of the last World Cup, right? Even they beat England, and after that they lost to France. Yeah, they beat England, if I'm mistaken. Yeah, I think they beat England and lost to France, right? But it is what it is. The World Cup is getting to the exciting end of the tournament, right? We are reaching a certain time where it's a do or die thing, right? We haven't reached any extra time or penalties at the moment. All the games have been played through to the end of the 90 minutes, and we've gotten all the results coming out then. But hard to say today, we might go right to the end, right? So let's see how long this show is going to go on for. And maybe we're not be having any guests on today, or we might be having guests on today. I'm not sure, because today a lot of people are doing watch alongs too, right? So because it's the last 16 of the World Cup, right? So for me, it's this. I'm just doing this for fun, right? And most of the time, I'll be just talking nonsense, right? And hope you guys can tolerate my nonsense, right? But of course, while all these things have been going on, the big talk around now is that will England be able to beat France and, of course, get through to the quarterfinals, right? And will England be able to actually contain Mbappe, right? Because Mbappe has been terrifying, scoring 5 goals already, right? In the last, I think, how many games they played? 4 games. So that's one thing that we have to look into. Mbappe is prime for the Golden Boot, all right? And one good thing is that last night, Harry Kane scored his first goal in this World Cup. It brings him closer to Wayne Rooney's record, right, of 53 goals. He's got 52. And of course, the day before, Giroud scored 1 goal, which actually takes him clear of Thierry Henry, making him the top scorer for the French national team, right? And of course, we're looking at Argentina with Messi, right? Messi is more or less now the talisman for Argentina, carrying them through to all the matches and all that. But will the Netherlands give the Argentinians a run for their money? It's hard to say, right? This World Cup has been a lot of surprises going on, but of course the favorites will be Argentina at the moment, and of course Brazil, right? And of course, at the moment, what's been going on, right? All the matches has been going on. There are goals. There's been excitement. There's not been a boring match at the moment, right? And let's see where we can move on from there, right? As time comes, it's coming how many more days to the last? We've got another about 2 more weeks, right? Because the finals will be on 18, right? Uh, During the group stages, the matches were coming thick and fast every day, 4 matches. But now the matches are becoming to two games a day, right? And most probably after this round of 16, it'll be spread out even more to less games. I think it's still continuing 2 games a day. But what else can we talk about right at the moment? At the moment, let's check out whatever news has been going on. Right, transfer windows. Right, players that have actually caught your eye during the World Cup. All right, now we have a lot of course, apart from being fans of the countries, we are fans of the clubs. Right, we're looking at what players will be good for our clubs. Right, of course, a lot of people have eyed up players like Gakpo. Right, Guardiola, especially today, he'll be playing for Croatia, right? On the Japanese side, right? We were linked to Tomiyasu, right? I actually rate Mitoma, right? But he's not in the starting 11. Maybe the Japanese coach will bring him on as a super sub kind of thing, right? Where there was, of course, the controversy during the group stages where the Japanese goal was, the ball, whether the whole ball crossed the line, right? And of course, I don't know, the goal was awarded to them. And so I guess if the goal was awarded, they deserved it. And they're true. And of course, Germany is out, Belgium is out. A lot of big names are out of this competition at the moment. But we're looking into the games, right? It is what it is. We have to accept that, right? Of course, the fittest teams will always go through, right? And as time goes by, we'll find out, right? As time goes by, we'll find out, right? Of course, we also had the Son Heung-min, right, beating his run through the dribble through and his sublime pass to Hwang Yi-chen, right, players from Wolves to score the winning goal for South Korea to actually carry them into the World Cup. But of course, as you can see, right, if I'm not mistaken, who is playing who at the moment. We will look into it. Right, today is Japan and Croatia. Later on tonight, it will be Brazil and South Korea. But that's too late for me. I won't be doing that. Right, if I was be doing that, then it will be nice. Right, but of course, Chunyao, big up, big up. Thanks for your support. Right, it's only me today, not many other people. But the show goes on. Right, the show will go on even if I'm alone. If there are guests who hop on, if anybody on in the chats would like to jump on, let me know. I'll throw the link into the chats for you guys to join me. All right. But at the moment now, Japan, Croatia. Tomorrow, there'll of course be Morocco and Spain, and then Portugal and Switzerland. And of course, the other surprise was Morocco, right, topping the group and getting through. Yeah. And big up to Chunyao too. Big up to Sonny. Yeah, Sonny. That will be the later match, Chunyao. Most probably I'll be sleeping through that match, and let's see whether South Korea can pull a surprise. Right? Let's see whether South Korea can pull a surprise. Right? Don't forget, whenever you have a World Cup in Asia, there's always surprises. Always there's surprises along the way. Okay, but today we'll be more or less focusing on the Japan Croatia game. Japan Croatia game. Just let me know, how do you feel? Do you think that Japan can actually pull one over Croatia, or Croatia will actually get through? And of course, let's see who they face after that. Right. At the moment now, we'll look into this, and the games are not going to be that. I mean, there are not many games left, if I'm not mistaken. Right. After this is today's two more games, and then you will have the last quarterfinals with four more games for for eight semifinals, 10, and of course the third place and the finals. 12 more games to go. We got 12 more games to go for us to know, right? Who will be playing, right? Who will be lifting the World Cup and who will be world champions, right? Will there be a surprise? Right? Will there be a surprise? And of course, a lot of people who are supporting England will want England to get through, and most of the world will be supporting Argentina and of course Brazil. Right? Those are the top two favorites at the moment. And as I've been saying, right, uh, for me, England is my surrogate team. Right? Being Malaysian, I don't think we'll be seeing a Malaysian team getting into the World Cup anytime soon. But hard to say. Maybe in 4 years' time, when they expand the franchise to 48 teams, maybe we'll get a chance, maybe, right? If we improve our football in the next 4 years, right, to get through, right? But at the moment now, we can see, right, the Croatia team is more of an Asian aging team, and I guess how I see it, most of the players are there are a lot of players who are actually above the age of 28 in the Croatia team, but let's see how that goes. Right, the Japanese seems to be they do a bit have the fitness. Maybe they will come out better later in the game. Right, but the formation more or less they'll be doing so will still be a 4-3-3. Right, 4-3-3 for Croatia. Right, that's the most important thing, right? For Croatia, they've been keeping clean sheets, right? And Guardiola's been performing quite well as one of the main defenders for Croatia, right? And and of course, Guardiola has been linked to a host of Premier League clubs, and of course, the top clubs in the top leagues around in the world, right? Mm, yeah. And of course, the World Cup has become a huge platform, right, for all the up and coming talents, right? And for it's like a showcase. It's a big showcase for them to show their talents and see whether the big clubs will come in and pick them up, and they will be playing in a different league, in a better league, right? And of course, we'll be looking into, of course, the smaller nations, right, to and the Asian nations, and of course the African nations, whether they have the talents that will attract, right, or maybe there'll be some hidden gems, right, hidden gems, right, that could be unearthed, right, during this World Cup, right? But of course, the obvious gem that is actually not hidden at the moment, right, will be actually players like Mbappe, like Gap, uh, Gakpo, right, and of course, we're not going to say it. We're going to talk about Harry Kane. Harry Kane was the we call Golden Boot winner last World Cup, but at the moment now he's not scoring too many goals. Not scoring too many goals. All right. So in the end, let's see how we're gonna how things are gonna turn out, right? As for the Japanese, of course, they do have a few players like Kamada, right, and of course Tomiyasu, right, and you do have some like Yoshida that used to play for Southampton, right? Morita, if I'm not mistaken, plays for uh, Benfica, right? And then they do have a few others, right? Maeda, the one, right? But sometimes I feel that if they don't play in the same leagues like the European leagues, then maybe it's not so easy for the coaches to know what the talents that the players have, and they play in a different league, so they're more of a mystery for the coaches to understand. So, and of course, when you see all the big names playing right in the big leagues, you can more or less understand what's happening. But of course, the managers and the coaches and all that will have their work done, right, to actually study each and every player, right, to see what they can, what their danger points are and what their weaknesses are and all that. And of course, at the moment now, we will have to look into the certain situations of certain situations of the skill and the ability, and of course the fitness of each and every player, right? And we've been also talking about the acclimatization of the European players going over to Qatar to play, right? Whether they actually have, the fitness levels and all that. Will the heat take the toll on them? And not to forget, this is actually the evening game, if I'm not mistaken. It's slightly more of an evening game for the in Qatar. Right? If I'm not mistaken, Qatar is about 3 hours or 4 hours behind us, right? So at the moment, the best part of it, we've been also been witnessing that the field actually is being air conditioned. We've been also wondering how they do that, but we did see some of the examples, right? They do have these large walls around the field where they will have the air blowers out there and blowing out the cold air onto the field. But I'm not sure whether that is it will help uh, in the end of the day. But according to some of the journalists and all that, they say that around the stadium is much warmer, but as you get down closer to the field, the air around it is so much cooler, right? So much cooler, right? So at the moment now, we are just sitting down, right? We have another 14 more minutes before kickoff, and let's see what else we can talk about while we wait for the game, right? Maybe I started this watch along a bit too early, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes, right? At the moment, mm, we have to wait and see. We have to wait and see, right? Yeah. And so let's get back to certain things like club football will be coming back soon, right? And a lot of people are saying the price that's been paid, right? Especially for players coming back injured, and there's certain things like players leaving the squad early in the World Cup, right? Raheem Sterling has left the England squad. He's gone back to England because there was a burglary at his home, but luckily the family wasn't at home when the burglars went in, right? And of course, Ben White has left the English team too. And of course, when you talk about injuries, Gabriel Jesus has left the Brazilian team, and of course Martinelli also is considered injured, right? And big up to Luca. Hi, Luca. All right. Are you doing a show? You're not doing a show. You want to join me? I can send you the link, right, Luca? Or unless you want to join Steven. I'm sure Steven is doing a show, and I hope Steven's better now, right? Keep seeing he's doing shows from not his usual. It's not from his home, right? Right, guys. Thanks for your support, right? And just like to thank you guys again for the last live show I did, right? We had about 2,000 views, right? So big surprise for me. Small little channel of mine getting 2,000 views is a big thing. Thank you a lot, guys. Thanks a lot for the support, right? But at the moment now, right, another 12 more minutes before the game starts, and while we're waiting for the game to start, just look at what are the transfer rumors out there, right? Transfer rumors, the gossips that's been going on, right? Right, I say Cody Gakpo, right? Manchester United is looking at him, right? But however, then there are other clubs that are looking at him too, right? But let's see how it goes, right? Real Madrid, there's so many. I think Barcelona is looking at Mohamed Kudus, right? Yeah, Mohamed Kudus seems to be a very, very, right? How would you say it? Surprisingly, a very good player for Ghana, right? He did. He has potential, if I'm not mistaken. But let's see whether a Premier League club will pick him up or whether a Spanish league club will pick him up, right? And let's see how he goes, right? Let's see how he goes at the moment, right? Let's see what will happen there, right? And of course, the Ecuadorian player Moises Caicedo, right? Manchester United also is looking at him, but let's see how it goes. Brighton wants about 70 million pounds for him, so Brighton has been making a lot of money nowadays, right? With Cucurella and all that. So of course, the other player, of course, was Josco Guardiol. Guardiol has been looked at by Tottenham Hotspur, Chelsea, right? Manchester United, Real Madrid, right? And let's see how that goes, right? And based on some other gossip that's been going on, Gabriel Jesus has actually flown back to London, right, to check out what's happening to his injuries, right? And what is happening, right? Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham Hotspur is looking at how you say, right? Looking at players like Frank Cassier, right? Frank Cassier. Well, Cassier has been linked to us before, right? Been linked to Spurs before, right? And then he chose Barcelona. And at the moment, he hasn't been able to find any playing time at Barcelona, right? We have a playing time at Barcelona, right? And of course, what else do we have, right? Of course, there's another thing is that, of course, there's a rumor going around. There's a joint Saudi Qatari bid, right, to buy Liverpool for 3.2 billion pounds. 3.2 billion pounds, and it's still cheaper than buying Chelsea. But of course, you can't compare Chelsea. Chelsea is based in London. Property prices there is much higher. So I guess Liverpool property prices are a bit lower. But let's see how that goes, whether it'll get through or not. But of course, at the moment now, we're looking into the matches that's been going on, right? There's so many matches. There's been so many watch-alongs that is going on at the moment now. Let's see. Wish them all the best of luck and all you guys, right? And of course, being Asian, you have to support Japan. But being a Spurs fan, you want Perisic to do well. But unless you say Croatia gets out and Perisic gets to leave Qatar earlier, gets back to London, have a good rest to start the EPL, right? At the moment now, if I'm not mistaken, most of our Spurs players are still in Qatar going through this World Cup, right? And not to be surprised, right? England has got Dyer there with Kane, right? South Korea has got Sonny, okay? And of course, Croatia's got Perisic, right? Brazil, we have Richarlison there. And I guess if with Martinelli and Jesus out, Richarlison will be playing a pivotal role in Brazilians' what call quest for the World Cup, right? Richarlison will be more or less focused, the main striker, main focus there, right? And of course now the game's gonna start in 8 minutes time. Big up to you guys in the chats, right? If anybody in the chats, right, you're here, just say hi. I would like to know where you guys are from, whether you're from Asia, whether you're from the rest of the world, any part of the world, right? And if you guys would like to join me on this watch along, you're welcome to join me on this watch along, right? More or less, or not, I'll be doing this watch along all alone until the end, right? Until the end. And of course, the players are for me now. Of course, I guess I'm the only one watching. We don't have to sync anything. Usually, I don't. Right, the players are walking out from the tunnel onto the pitch. Right, right. Hi, Lisa. Big up, Lisa. Right, big up, Lisa. I'm well. I'm well. Hope you're well too, Lisa. Right. Hope so. All's well in Mexico at the moment. Right. And of course, sorry to say that USA got knocked out by the Netherlands from the World Cup. But I guess you guys will have your chance, right? You guys will have your chance in 4 years' time, back on home ground, back on home ground. And I guess if that happens, right, Mexico and the States, will you be which who will you be supporting? And if England is there, I guess you will have three countries: States, Mexico, and England. Lisa, right? You'll be have to support more or less three teams. And of course, let's see how that goes. Maybe in 4 years' time, save enough money. I'll be heading over to World Cup, right, to join Brian Daigle and Brian Island and the rest of the Spurs family, right, who are based, and of course Scott M. Not to forget Scotty, right, Scott M. Right, to watch the World Cup in Canada, right, to watch the World Cup in Canada. At the moment now, on my screen, they're going through the national anthems, right? Going through the national anthems. Japanese national anthem is playing now, right? The Japanese national anthem is playing now. And why are the flags hexagonal? Okay, 5 sides, hexes. Okay. Mm. Is it hexagon? 5 sides. I don't know. Whatever. Just as long as it's not square. Right. At the moment now, that's all the pride that's been showed by the Japanese team. Right. And let's hope they put up a good performance. Right. And of course, I guess the Japanese team, Japan will be the what call, right? Japan will be right, not the favorite, of course, not the favorite. And of course, Lisa says, "Yep, said both USA and Mexico are out, so I have to go for England and whichever Spurs player is playing for, I don't know." Yes, yes, Lisa, I know. I'm torn between Asia and Perisic and Modric. Right, Modric used to be an ex-Spurs player. torn between countries like that, right? So I know what to say, right? Being a Malaysian, so we don't have a Malaysian team. You must find surrogates all over, right? Find surrogates all over, and of course, Lisa. Not if not, then the later match will be uh, Brazil against what called South Korea. That most probably will be the Sony versus Richarlison show, right? And there'll be two players playing against each other, right? Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, Lloris is in the World Cup too. Yeah, I keep forgetting Lloris. He's playing for France, and when that game comes out, that's gonna be exciting, right? It's going to be like Spurs being torn between Lloris, Harry Kane, and Eric Dyer. Yeah, but I doubt Dyer will be there. Right, right. And the same for here, right? Up the game later. Go Richie and Sonny. I'm torn. Yeah, we're all torn. But most probably I'll be asleep by then. Right. It's about 3 a.m. my time. I have to get back to work the next day. So most probably I'll miss that match. Or maybe after this watch along, if it's not that long, right, I can go catch a good quick 2 hour nap, wake up and watch that game again, and then catch some shala again and go to work tomorrow. Let's see how that happens, right? If this game ends early, right? It's hard to say. If this game goes into extra time and penalties, then most probably I would write off the Brazilian South Korean game, right? Right off the Brazilian South Korean game, right? Pick up to you guys in the chats, right? Just let me know where you're from, right? Lisa is from Mex. Actually, Lisa is English, but in Mexico and America, if I'm not mistaken, right? Lisa, if I'm not mistaken, right? Because Chun Yao, if I'm not mistaken, you must be somewhere, which part of Asia you're from. If not mistaken, you told me last time, is it Taiwan, right? Or is that a Singapore, Taiwan, or, right? Singapore, Taiwan, right? All right, the game's going to start soon. We're going to have 3 more minutes, right? Yeah. Hmm. Let's see how that goes. The game is going to start soon. Let's see how exciting this game is going to be. And let's see what's going to happen. Let's see what's going to happen. Being Asian, we have to support Asian, right? Yeah, yeah. My kids, yeah, we were born. Oh, my kids were born in Mexico here. Oh, that's good. Hey, Chunya's from UK, right? Okay, big up, Chunya, big up. Right, my kids were born in Mexico. All right, those are the roots that where you come from. That's where the roots. VAR is from Morocco. Okay, all right. Forgot where the referees came from, but we'll find out soon. And of course, Croatia, right? Croatia has got a very strong defense. They only conceded one goal all this time. So let's see how it goes. Brozovic is there too, right? One of the players that Spurs been linked to, right? But being Spurs, we've been linked to nearly every player that's available to be linked to, right? So more or less, we should just see what we will be buying this coming January, right? Being a Spurs fan, but let's see how that goes, right? Yeah. Oh yeah, Davor Struka used to be a Croatian. Yeah. Hmm. Game's gonna start soon. Kickoff is coming soon, right? On my side. I'm not sure you guys whether you guys are faster than I am, right? And if any reaction, if there's a goal, let me know. I'm okay. Most probably I'll be watching the game, not saying too many things. So I'll be just mumbling to myself, and you guys will be just watching and listening me mumbling to myself. Okay, right. They're all ready to start. Right. It's all ready to start. Right. The Croatian players are ready. Right. They're gonna kick off. Right. And of course, Lisa says, speaking of Cassier, I just read that he prefers to return to Italy should he leave Barcelona. Yeah, I guess he would. I guess he would. Right. But which Italian team is going to buy him? Where was Cassier from? Was he from in? Cassier was from AC Milan, right? When he went over to Barcelona on a free, right? And the kickoff is on, right? Croatia kicks off, and Croatia is straight into the penalty box, right? And at the moment, Croatia has the possession while the Japanese are pressing. Right. Let's see how that goes. Right. Let's see how that goes. Uh, Let me just set up some things for us. Yeah, at the moment now, it's Japan 0, Croatia 0. Right, at the moment now. Oh, Maeda plays for Celtic, right? And Juranovic plays at Celtic too. So uh Japan has got a free kick or just at the middle of the field. Japan gets a free. Oh, nearly. It ran past all the players in the middle, right? And whether Japan gets another cross in or not. And now Japan gets a corner, right? Quick corner from Japan, right? And every time I see Gianni Infantino, he reminds me of Levy. Why is that so? Every time I see that guy, he reminds me of Levy. Right? Maybe just he's got that the kind of sneaky looking feature that Levy has. Yep, then Levy looks sneaky, right? And so does Infantino, right? Maido plays it back, and then and the Japanese are, you know, that's nice, right? A short free kick, right? Yep, Lisa, I guess this is it, right? I guess this is it, right? That's it, right? It's the ball hit and a smirk on his face. Yeah, really, he does remind me of, I don't know what to say, right? If you sometimes you get a glance of him, you think, what is Levy doing there? Oh, Japan is really pressing hard now, right? Japan is really pressing hard at the moment, right? And Japan seems to be big up, Ben, big up, right? Join me if you can, Ben, right? Join me if you can, but I'm not sure whether you're doing any watch alongs, but just join me to have a chat, right? You don't have to watch the game. Right? I'll be watching the game and I'll just be chatting. Yeah, Ben, and if you guys, any guys, right? If you don't know, sign up to Ben's coffee channel, right? Ben Coffee's channel, right? Right. He's a good chill out channel, right? And he's doing his Xmas coffee roasting time. Yeah. So I guess, are you watching the game or are you just listening to it, Ben, while you're roasting your coffee? All right. Let me know whether you're watching or you're just roasting and watching at the same time. Right. Anyway, you can join me you want to while roasting it. All right. Join me while you're roasting. Right. Any good blends are you doing for Christmas? Or any special names that you come up with? Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Lisa's asking how did the beans turn out, Ben? Right. I was listening to some of your stream, but couldn't comment on the chat. Yep. Yep. Ben will be watching and listening. Yeah. Watching and listening. Thanks, Ben. Big up, big up. All right. And let's see whether any more chances being created. Yep. Yep. And then it's about to roast the coffees now, right? About to roast the coffees. Right. You roast them and after that, do you blend them, Ben? Right. You blend the coffees, you know, mix them up, blend it. Mm. And now Croatia is taking control back of the game, right? Controlling the midfield, right? And let's see whether Croatia can create a chance, but no, seems to be broken down again, and it's going backwards. Yeah. Oh, blend first, then roast. Okay, blend the beans, then you roast them, right? Blend the beans, then you roast them. Then after that, you got to grind them, right? Do you grind them after that, or you just blend first, then roast? All right, blend first, then roast. Hmm. Right, blending roast. Right. Sometimes, yeah, you should stream that sometimes, right? Yep, educate us, right? Educate us about the coffee, right? And I've got a guest joining us at the moment, right? Let's see, right? There's a nice guest coming on, but his device, whether he can connect while his internet picks up. Hi, Manny. Big up, big
Good,
up.
good evening, sir. Thanks a lot for inviting me. I am free.
Yeah,
I
no,
was actually
yeah,
supposed to join Stephen Featley for his watch along. Was co-hosting it with him, but he said he had to cancel that last minute. And
yeah.
Hanno didn't really have a slot for me open. Didn't really need me. I normally host
All
his
right.
watch alongs if he
Yeah,
can't
I
do it.
know.
So I thought,
Yeah,
let me just say thank you once again for the invitation. I
no,
really
no problem.
appreciate it.
You're
And
always welcome, Manny. You're always welcome. right? And I think
Right.
Steven has not been feeling too well lately because the
Yeah.
last watch along I did with him was with the South Korea Ghana game, right? He was on for a while, but then he wasn't feeling too well. Then after that, he had to, hop off. And if you can see, he's actually streaming straight out from where, right? So
Yeah, hospital.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, so
I'm used to it. Yeah, he used to do it a lot. That's how I met Steven, right? I used to do streams with him when he was in hospital, right? But
oh,
let's hope he gets
nice.
better soon. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
If
hope
I
so
go
too.
on stream, it'll be difficult because I will not, no one be taking on my IP and graph. Okay. Now I'm just talking to Ben, our another Spurs fan, right, who has got his coffee
Uh-huh.
channel. Yeah,
Yep.
Ben does his coffee. I'm sure I'm not sure whether you're aware of that. Yeah, but
No, I'm not aware of that actually. I mean, I'll be honest. When he said roast, I mean, I was thinking of a slightly different sort of roast,
yeah,
but
yeah, no, no coffee
because
roasting. Yeah,
yeah, because
beans.
here's the thing: despite being of South Indian blood, I despise the smell and the taste of coffee. I love my tea,
Okay.
and
Oh, you're a
uh,
cha guy, right?
yep.
Yeah, 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 yeah. After work today?
Um, no, not really. I mean, like,
What time is it
yeah,
there now?
yeah.
It's about nearly.
It's just be past 8:30 now my
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So my question to you is, where are you right now? Because I'm on 7:50, 51, 52.
Oh, you're always faster than me, right? You're about 30 seconds ahead of me.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So is there a goal? Because Japan. Oh, that was a mistake. Oh, and
yeah,
my God.
good
Okay.
save by the Japanese keeper Gonda. He was actually at fault
Yeah,
for the Costa Rican winner when
yeah,
they pulled off that smash and grab against them. I actually,
yeah.
a lot of people have been bigging up Japan this tournament for the performances they've put in. But here's the
Hmm.
thing: they were dominated for the most part by Germany and took advantage of some complacency and slack by the Europeans to score those goals past them. And I have to say that after that match and after this tournament, if I never see Manuel Neuer play for Germany ever again, it will be too soon because clearly still capable of some decent saves, but clearly his physical best is long gone. Gone. I mean, that second goal, he never should have allowed that shot to go past him from that tight an angle. It's as if he went out of the way and allowed, I think it was Doan who scored that goal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. The
He,
one.
he to come past him. They were awful against Costa Rica. I mean, they were winning the battles in midfield and running really hard, but they weren't able to register a shot on target until after they fell behind. And
Mm,
against Spain, they were exceptionally lucky with that controversial goal that
mm,
any other day wouldn't have really stood. But again, with VAR being what it is, they have to be exact, and they've determined that in this case, the benefit of doubt has to go to the attacking side. If it
mm.
doesn't completely cross the line in case of a goal, and it's not given, if it doesn't completely cross the line in case of it going out of play, it shouldn't be considered out of play. But
Okay.
Japan have actually been luckier than a lot of other teams realize, and I just think that with the experience that Croatia have, they should be able to pull out a win. But it will be a tight win. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. The only thing is that the last four games has gone by, right? And none of the games went into extra time or even penalties. So this could be the game that's coming up that's looking into that scenario, right? How tight it is and all that. Because at the moment now, the round of 16 looked a bit loose because most of the big teams crashed out. Teams like Germany, teams like Belgium, right? And
Yep.
yeah, all the big teams have crashed out. So in the round of 16 is one that isn't that tight. So of course now it's actually falling to place in the quarterfinals. You see teams like Holland and Argentina, France and England, they are through. You get what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
whether this plays out in a scenario whether Japan gets through or not, the next team they'll play will be a big team to play, right? But at
Absolutely,
the moment,
absolutely.
but I mean, to tell the truth, right? This World Cup has been quite a surprise because you got three Asian teams actually getting into the round of 16, which is a record for the World Cup. It's
Uh
never
huh.
happened before, right? So I guess at the moment now, this is crunch time, right? Crunch time, as I
Yeah.
say. So,
And of course, with South Korea reaching the semi-finals in their home World Cup in
oh, okay, okay,
2002.
Manny, don't go there. South Korea getting into the semifinals of the World Cup was the catalyst and the starting point of the corruption at its best. That's how I saw that during that World Cup, right? And
Wow.
yeah, to tell the truth, right? That World Cup, right? To tell the truth, right? Now maybe I won't say it online, right? Live, it will be a bit too controversial. I'll explain to you what happened, right? Because it was something that FIFA had to do, okay? And it was just like FIFA during 2002, they were just breaking into the Asian market. You get what I'm saying? To actually make football a big Asian thing, right? It always has been simmering underneath the undertones of sports in Asia. But once the World Cup reached Asia, right, it actually blew
Mm,
up. And I think it was a narrative to get an Asian team, right, all the way
hmm
through, right? Oh, no, no, no. The ball gets keep going through. Oh, big up, Catman Jess, big up. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us. Right?
mm.
No. So that's how I saw it. And from after that World Cup, right, the interest in football throughout Asia actually grew exponentially. That's how I saw it. And then you started to get more Asian players going to the top leagues in Europe, right? And more recognizable names coming in, and and of course, the bigger names stayed longer and more names coming in, right? And I guess that's been the goal, right? But in the end of the day, let's see, right? Maybe one of the Asian teams will win the Club World Cup, then a Club World Cup, yeah, Club World Cup. Then that may be the change of times. But at the moment now, as you know, for the Club World Cup, it's always been won by, uh, isn't that a free kick? Perisic bumps the player off.
No, the referee saw it otherwise. And
Yeah,
I mean, from an Arsenal perspective, it's good to see Tomiyasu starting for Japan. He only
yeah,
really had a substitute appearance in the group stage, and I wasn't expecting
yeah,
him to get too much in terms of minutes. And
yeah.
yeah,
But I guess
I get your point. Go ahead, sir.
no, no, go ahead. No, I mean for Tomiyasu, right? I guess it's just building up his fitness, right, to into the later stages of the tournament. Yeah,
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 very true.
yeah.
Yeah, but
But
I was just going to talk about that 2002 World Cup. I think that tournament also saw quite a few shocks. The biggest one,
yes,
obviously, was France exiting the World Cup in one of the worst defenses of a trophy ever to
mhm,
be seen. They couldn't
that's
even
true.
score a goal for crying out loud.
But
And
wasn't that year or the year of controversy when the French players weren't actually at one and there was a lot of what I call unrest in the was it under Domenech?
it was under Domenech, and that was 2010 and 2006, if I'm not
Or it
wrong.
was the
I
Domenech
mean,
was 2010. Okay.
yeah, it was Roger
Mm,
Lemaire who was coaching
okay.
Japan. He, of course, led them to the Euro win, but then came a cropper horribly. And I think a lot of the European teams struggled because they weren't able to get to grips with the conditions over
Weather.
in
Yeah, the weather,
Japan and
yeah.
Korea. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, teams like Ireland, for instance, actually did better than expected, even with the whole brouhaha surrounding Roy Keane, who, in my opinion,
Yeah.
was utterly stupid in the way he conducted himself and deserved to be sent home.
Mm-hmm.
Big up to
That's
Steve
true.
Staunton, by the way. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
took on the leadership mantle and did really well. And of course,
Yeah. Yeah,
future Spurs. I don't know if Robbie Keane was playing for Spurs at the time of the World Cup. I don't know if he was, but
I think
again,
he
he
was
made his.
2002. I think he's still I think he was or after that he joined Spurs, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, maybe
Oh yeah,
after that he joined Spurs. Yeah, but to tell the truth, right? That World Cup was to tell the truth, and I said there was a narrative built behind it. So you know, so and
yeah.
then
But
that narrative,
I'm actually going to counter that in some ways because here's the thing, in my opinion. Many of the European teams who didn't really do as well as they did. Yeah, exactly. You're right. He was at Leeds United that World Cup, but then joined Spurs immediately afterwards.
yeah,
And yeah,
yeah,
so he had two spells with you lot, making more than
yeah,
I think
yeah,
close to about maybe 300
that is correct.
appearances. I'm not too
Still at
sure.
Leeds, yeah, still at Leeds, yeah, right. But
Yep.
no, I understand. Maybe yeah, because you
Yeah.
see, in Asia, I think FIFA didn't calculate that the weather, the humidity, the European players wouldn't be able to handle it, right? But
Hmm.
once you know, and maybe the technology didn't allow for air conditioning on the pitch kind of thing,
Yep.
like we see now, right? Remember, we keep saying, where is the air
Hmm.
conditioning coming from? But now when we see that green wall, right,
Hmm.
behind the benches and all that, I guess that's where the air conditioning is coming from, right? As you can see in the
Yeah.
green wall, right? Small little holes where there are blowers there. So I guess that's what the green wall's for. But of course, when you have, you know, even like when the World Cup was played in the States, that was when was that? 2000
94. 94.
or 94, yeah. When the World Cup was played in the States in during 94, right? The weather in the States in certain stadiums, right, was atrocious, right? When they play in the afternoon
Exactly.
game. Yeah. Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
But
So
again, I'm gonna counter your point on the corruption there because I really can't say that it was within FIFA's remit to allow South Korea or any Asian team to get as far as they did, because when you take a look at I mean, obviously there might be some sort of a point
no,
in the games
they
against
no,
Italy and Spain, for instance,
yeah. No,
like
but I understand what you're saying. But number one, they had to be able to show some grit and some capability first before they could be helped. You get what I'm saying? If you take
yeah,
a country like Qatar, right? They were helpless. They couldn't do anything, right?
yep,
And if you go to the sense that if you are not at that level to perform, to be helped, right? You can't be helped. And if you get help at that level, right, then it'd be so obvious, right? Then that will be really, you know, even
oh yeah,
before,
there
yeah,
was
even
that. There
yeah,
was that scandal, I believe, where apparently some Ecuadorian players were
paid,
supposedly offered money
yeah,
to
yeah,
forfeit that
to throw the
match of
game,
sorts,
yeah, yeah.
only
So
for the Ecuadorian players to say sorry, but
yeah, no, thank
we're
you.
not sorry. You can keep your
Yeah,
money. We're here
yeah,
to represent our country with pride and joy.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
even know if those players in question were dropped from the team as a result, but
Mhm.
it is what it is. But I think seeing some of South Korea's football they played during that tournament, they obviously had some fine players like Sun Hong Hwang,
Yeah,
Jun Hwang, and of course he was playing in Italy at the time, and of course the
and
captain Myung Bo Hong, Woon
and
Jae
then
Lee, and several others. Yeah,
was Park Ji Sung there at the time?
Park Ji Sung.
Yeah,
I
or
think
was
he
he
must
later?
have. Let me check and see.
Yeah,
Um,
Park Ji
but
Sung
but
must
then
have been there
but
too, right?
but they, but they
2002.
but they obviously had a lot of players who were doing really
Yeah.
well,
But one
and
thing they were smart, Mani, if I'm not mistaken, the crust of their players were actually playing in their own league in their own country. So most of the players were already acclimatized to the weather there. You get what I'm saying?
exactly, yeah.
Yeah. And they just sprinkle a few what called international talents, right? To bring
Uh-huh.
the to add more prowess to the game. But of course I'm saying you have to have, right,
Uh-huh.
the capability to bring yourself at that level to be more or less in the end be helped in a certain way, right? And you must
Right.
understand those were days that you didn't have VAR, and the referee's word was you can't challenge the referee's word. Remember, you challenge the
Yep.
referee's word too many times, you get sent off. You get
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Yeah. And
I
let's see
get
what
that.
benefit.
But
Yeah.
several of those players actually were really good, and the football they played in that tournament was absolutely brilliant. I
Yeah,
will
yeah.
accept that there were some decisions that probably went
They were
their way, but I don't want
dodgy
to.
decisions.
Yeah, but I
Hell
don't
of
want
dodgy
to.
decisions.
Yeah, but I don't want to discredit South Korea too
Oh,
much. And obviously,
oh, yeah. Yeah,
let me.
right.
I think I was almost losing my train of
Screen.
thought actually. But we
Yeah.
were talking a little bit about how I think some of the bigger teams in this World Cup have also fallen by the wayside. I think many of
Mhm.
them, especially with the scheduling that they had, they didn't have anywhere near enough time to acclimatize to conditions. Wales,
Yeah,
in particular, literally wilted in the heat, whereas
yeah.
England had it a little bit better. Maybe they had some better training. I don't know, but unless you
Mm,
acclimatize to these conditions, especially with the World Cup being in December, and many players, of course, having had their season interrupted,
yeah,
um, you know, it was going to be a little bit difficult for them. Not that that's necessarily an excuse, but
yeah,
the fact that many of these teams have fallen by the wayside has
yeah,
it's sort of exposed. I mean, it's made things a lot easier for the likes of Spain, who I believe will be playing Morocco, and they could face the quarterfinal against either Portugal or Switzerland if they end up going that far. So
That's true.
yeah, and I think it's fair to say that the better teams have pretty much, you know, earned their spots. And unlike in 2002, when you had Turkey and South Korea coming out of nowhere to reach the semi-finals, I
Hmm.
think the semi-finals of this World Cup will be definitely the four best teams, but also the four of the biggest footballing teams.
Yeah,
I mean, to think that you could possibly have an Argentina Brazil semi-final clash is just insane, really. And I mean,
yeah.
that clash is really worthy of
And
being
you're
a
already having
final in itself.
a France England quarterfinal clash. You get what I'm saying? So
Wait, Roy
nothing is
Keane was absolutely in the right with the Ireland team. He went from having to cheese sandwiches on bleached Hovis bread. Ben, listen, I've spoken about this particular issue with many people on YouTube, obviously, and the only reason why I haven't made a video, blasting Roy Keane from my side is because, like a good little boy, he hasn't said very much about it. For many years, he's been, bitter about everything, but I think when you analyze everything, it was mainly his doing. It was of his doing that he ended up being sent home. If your manager gives you an order that you are not to give any interviews to the press, then I'm sorry, but I don't care who you are. You shut your mouth and get on with your job. And he knew that when he went to their base in Izumo after that little layover in Saipan, which was just an acclimatization trip and a holiday, really, that the facilities would be better and that especially after the acclimatization work they did in Saipan, the players found running a lot easier in Japan. They ended up doing really well in that tournament. But
Mhm.
Keane basically was acting like a little bit of a prima donna. I'm not really saying that things were perfect in Saipan. In fact, the pitch over there was absolutely disgraceful, and we can definitely blame McCarthy and the FAI for not having a decent backup plan. But in mitigating circumstances, they were promised by the authorities that they would have a state of the art pitch ready, only for it to be not exactly state of the art, as the manager of the Saipan Hyatt Regency would later on say. But again,
You
when
mean
it
they went to
comes to
Saipan, Saipan to
yeah,
get acclimatization? Isn't
yes,
Saipan
because
somewhere in in the Pacific Islands area?
it is in the Pacific Islands area,
Yeah, that's a
absolutely.
weird part to go to get acclimatization. And you should know if
Yeah,
you go to an island like that, right? What are you gonna expect from, right? What do you
yeah,
expect from? And
exactly.
Colin, big up to you. We are both well, right? If you want to hop on, I think you know where the link is, right? You can go and get it. If you want me, I can send you the link too. If you want to hop on, if you're not working or anything like that, Colin. Right? Good morning to you too, Colin. Good morning. Yeah, he's from the Americas. Right? He's from States,
Oh,
Colin. Yeah,
wonderful, 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 wonderful,
yeah.
wonderful. So,
Yeah.
yeah, but
No, just
McCarthy said
wondering.
it.
No, come
Yeah,
on. Wouldn't if Ireland came to Kuala Lumpur to get acclimatization, it would have been better, right? Why go all the way to Saipan?
agreed. But there was a reason why they went to Saipan, and that was because they didn't want to run the risk of having players like Roy Keane and maybe the likes of Steve Staunton and others being mobbed by fans. So they thought that for those 4 days, they could just acclimatize in relative peace and tranquility, and then
Uh,
go to Japan for the serious business, if you
uh,
will. McCarthy said it himself. He took them to Saipan not only to get them acclimatized, but also for a bit of a holiday. They went out there for 4 days. And because the boys were suffering from jet
so,
lag because of the journey, which again was not in
so that
McCarthy's
means
control.
they went there. They went there for a break and ended up
Yeah, yeah,
doing
and
not bad, doing not too bad in that World Cup series. Yeah.
exactly, and
Yeah.
yeah. So he gave them 2 days
Apart
off
from the
because they was
Roy Keane incident, but no.
yeah,
But
yeah.
remember when we were doing a few streams earlier, right? I think we've done a few shows earlier, right?
Uh-huh.
I've been saying, right, this World Cup has been really weird because the countries haven't had time to have any pre games at all, right?
Exactly, exactly. I was
Yeah,
I was alluding to that. You've got to have a period of
yeah,
acclimatization,
yeah.
and then of
Acclimatization
course,
thing, the understanding the pre games. Usually normal World Cups, you oh nah,
yeah.
let's not think
And
ever.
Ben, look,
Yeah.
mate. You and I are going to have to agree to disagree on Keane. We all agree that he was a fine player, but I think if you analyze his behavior with Ireland, he was really only more committed to playing for Manchester United. And I think when you are captain of a team, you've also got to sometimes understand that you can't be right all the time. Maybe he was right about the facilities, but again, it isn't your responsibility to kick up a stink about that. The manager has to
Mhm.
deal with everything, and many were the big figures in the game who made it crystal clear that Roy Keane was absolutely in the wrong, and he had to be sent home, and that McCarthy did the right thing. And back to
Mhm.
McCarthy, he gave them 2 days off because they had jet lag, and then all they had to do effectively was just have a little kickabout on that pitch, crappy as it was, and then go to Japan to prepare. And when they went to Japan, when they got there, they were acclimatized. They enjoyed the facilities at their base in Izumo. Running was so much easier, and they prepared quite well. And again,
Mhm.
Keane knew that the facilities would be better. So why couldn't he have shut his mouth? Why couldn't he have just gritted his teeth, went to Izumo, enjoyed training with the boys, had a good tournament, had the honor of being World Cup captain, and then after the tournament, if he wanted to retire, have his say and slag everyone off. When you give those
Mhm.
interviews in the paper slagging off the manager and your teammates, I'm sorry, that is poor form on your part as a leader.
Yeah, yeah.
And
It's called
McCarthy,
having standards. Yeah,
yeah,
maybe. Yeah, yeah. But at least now we're in this era, right? To tell the truth, imagine if you're playing the World Cup in 1960s and the 70s and the 50s, right? The pitch weren't perfect, right? If it rained, it will turn
exactly.
into a mud. What call? It turned into a mud, what a bog or something like that, right? So
Yeah.
that's the evolution of football, right? And you're talking about during those days, right? In the 80s and 70s, even the ball was heavier, right? How you say it, the material they use
Ooh,
and all that.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
some really good chances from both sides right now, and
yeah,
you can see the game starting to heat up a little bit. But
okay. But there's
I
still
mean,
no
there
no
was,
breakthrough yet. So yeah.
yeah.
But let's see. Who's gonna last longer, right?
I'm
What they
sure
say.
with I'm sure with your
Yeah,
hold on a minute, please.
yeah. Okay. Oh, no wonder. That's what Mani's been saying. And Croatia is still putting on the pressure, right? Modric gets it in, and of course Japan clears. Right, Japan clears. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Mani. Yeah, I understand. Saw that run of play. Right.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
how impressed have you been with Perisic so far? I mean, obviously, it looks as though the time he's spent with Tottenham has
No,
prepared him
the
quite
thing,
well.
yeah, I
He's
think
looked good so far.
yeah, for being Spurs, I expected more from him, right? But of course, to tell the truth, coming from the Italian league and jumping into the Premier League is totally a different speed and standards and physicality. But I guess it's been a good build up for him for the World Cup, right? He's not been terribly unimpressive, but not terribly impressive either. So a few of his crosses I've seen, no, not too precise, but being an attacking threat, he is there being an attacking threat. So that's how I see Perisic at the moment. But of course, at the moment now, you see, like I'm sure, like for you, Manny, right? You have Jesus being injured and now back in
Mhm.
London, right? The
Yep.
Martinelli part, I'm not that sure what's happening there. They say he's injured too, right? Whether he's left the squad or not, I'm not sure, right? And of course, the Arsenal fan base is going crazy because losing Jesus for another 3 months or so, or more or less the rest of the season, you guys are already what call calling out for your owners to buy players, right, to
Hmm.
replace Jesus, right? But let's see what happens there, right?
Yeah,
But my
because it's either buy a striker or be stuck with Edward and Ketia. And I tell you what, not many
yeah,
people there are looking forward to that prospect. But again, having said that,
yeah,
we still don't know in terms of the prognosis how long he'll be out of action. So
hmm,
I mean, we're hoping and praying that it won't be for too long and that he'll start training as soon as he regains a little bit of fitness. And
oh,
then, he'll be back in the team before then.
okay,
I think until then, the management are probably going to look to try to soldier on and give Eddie and Ketty a chance. But here's the thing, though. He's only really made some very short substitute appearances in the Premiership. He hasn't scored. Um,
yeah,
he's really only found the net twice in the Europa League and I think once or so in the League Cup. He will certainly get some cup games, but I mean, in the FA Cup for sure. But again, he still hasn't really, proven himself. And that whole
I
idea of
think
him getting the
for
number
you
14
guys, right,
jersey, yeah.
Eddie Nketiah is a hell of a drop off from what you get from Jesus,
Oh,
right?
yeah. He's a
Yeah,
drop off, full stop.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Right, and of course, what Ben says, any Tottenham fan who fans Perisic in this World Cup needs to look at themselves in the mirror. Quality tournament so far. Yeah, 8-9 assists so far this
I
season.
agree with you on that. I agree with you on that. He's been
Mm,
one of Croatia's most influential players this tournament. And
yeah.
if Modric were to obviously announce his retirement afterwards, I'm sure Zlatko Dalic will be eager for
Oh,
Perisic to take on the
yeah.
captaincy and maybe carry on at least until the European Championships.
That'd be
But
huge fun.
Dalic has certainly rubbed a few players the wrong way. I know that Nikola Kalinic was sent home from the squad 4 years
Yeah,
ago. And then after the Euros, Ante Rebic fell foul of him after criticizing him in public. And, sometimes
yeah.
again,
I mean, if players come out to criticize your manager, right, especially in the national team, that's the manager's prerogative, right? If he's still getting the results, and the country we call Football Association is still supporting him, he'll still be there. And don't forget, that's the
yes,
same thing with Southgate, right?
yep.
Yeah,
The same
right.
also for Mick McCarthy and Roy Keane.
Yeah.
No doubt about
So
it.
one thing good about these what call crop of England players that's gone through, right? Somehow or another, Southgate has actually been able to remove the ego tag from most of the big players, and they
Hmm.
seem more like a squad now, right? And more
Yeah,
like a family. And they've taken
yeah.
away the club rivalry. You get what I'm saying, right? You have to take away the club rivalry when you're playing for a country. You
Of
have
course,
that
of
club
course, of
rivalry
course.
thing in the squad. It will never work. That's why the problem. What happened with Lampard and Gerrard, right? They were two fantastic players, right? But the problem is that once they put on an England shirt, they couldn't actually be cohesive, right? And they didn't work
Yeah.
together. And then that was the downfall of England's success. And at the moment now, what Southgate has done, actually, I give him credit for what he's done at the moment, right? He's actually brought the team together. It doesn't matter how old or how young you are, how big you are, how talented you are, right? The country comes first. That's how I see it. So, and they will take at least the club rivalry has been taken away, and I see that's how I said maybe to teach the players to be more humble, right? You may be a superstar, right? But you know, the whole country is watching you, and you have to set an example, right? But
Yep. Absolutely.
yeah, but at the moment they say this game seems to be, a lot of promising movements, but not much results at the moment, right? So
Yeah, a lot of movement, and I think whoever's more incisive at the moment will seem to do well. One
yeah.
thing which I will also say right now is this: you take a look at obviously the way Japan play. They're certainly a very sharp team when it comes to
Ah,
trying to move across the park, move through the midfield. But again, they're apart from maybe Doan, if he gets in, there's not that much penetration and quality in the final third. And y-
that's
uh,
true.
yeah,
And of course,
so
when you have
I
excellent
think
form, it's even tough
Croatia
for
probably have done their homework in terms of trying to, stifle, their
the
forward
Japanese.
line if
Yeah,
there is, in as much as there may be.
yeah.
But Japan have also certainly looked good defensively, and
Yeah.
Gonda in particular has at least been a little bit more decisive. Although I still believe that Eiji Kawashima is the best goalkeeper in that Japanese squad, and
Mhm.
for him to not be in the team plans of Hajime Moriyasu was a bit of a disappointment. But credit to Kawashima for taking it professionally and celebrating passionately with the team. He's certainly
Yeah.
been one of the more
No, that's what
important
I'm saying. If
senior
you,
players.
it's the team, and it's for the team and the country. It's not for yourself. That's the most important thing. That's why I said. That's what
Yeah.
maybe Southgate has been able to how you call, right, bring the best out of the England players at the moment, right? And to tell the truth, I'm also quite surprised. I don't see players like Mitoma and all that. And usually the Japanese coach will
Yeah, you just frozen a bit there, sir. Well, sorry about that, but dear friend Eugene is frozen, so you're with me for now. And I think, he was talking obviously about how the egos have been removed from the England team, and it's to an extent, I guess that's true. But let's also not discount the fact that in 2018 they had a very fortuitous run to the semi-finals and still lost to that golden generation Belgian team twice. Belgium, of course, had the ill fortune, despite qualifying as winners from our group, then to have to face Brazil en route, whereas we had a much easier route, easier time of it. Of course, you still have to play the teams that are in front of you. I'm not saying otherwise. But, it is what it is. And this is going to be a real test when we come up against France. We'll be missing a couple of our squad players, of course, and
Yeah, yeah. Can you hear me? Okay, no,
yeah, loud
something
and clear,
like
loud and clear.
yeah.
So that bit you
Just
said
hold on.
about removing the
I've
egos
lost
was,
my camera. That's the problem.
yeah.
Yeah, let me
So
just hold on.
that little bit you said about removing the egos was is, I would say, true, but also in 2018 we were very, very fortunate to have had the path we did to get to the semis, and we still lost to that golden generation Belgian team twice, once in the group stage and the second time in the third and fourth place playoff. So frozen yet again, I'm afraid, but will be interesting to see how England do. As I've said, it'll be interesting to see what the course of this match will be. Obviously, the Samurai Blue are still rampant, and both teams obviously trying their best to, move forward. Well, again, they're still playing and moving forward. And of course, because I'm still ahead of Eugene, albeit by 30 seconds, I don't want to give too many spoilers. But the game started to become a little bit niggly now. And
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Technical issues. Technical issues. But I'm back. I'm back.
yep, now
I
you're
don't know.
back. Now you're back, and you look
Yeah,
better.
yeah, yeah. Maybe I kicked some cable somewhere. So yeah, that's why I was offline for a while. But
Yep.
now, yeah. So like you were saying, right? The game is, I think, reaching a part where it's coming to the end of the first half. I think the players will just be like toning down a bit, and unless it's getting niggly, right?
Hmm.
And but what I was saying is that the Japanese are quite smart at the moment. What they've been doing is that I guess they're making the Croatians run around a lot, right? So
Hmm.
maybe that's part of the tactic, make them run around a lot, and if they are fitter, in the end
Hmm.
they will benefit from all this, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, but now Japan can break fortuitously through Ito, the number 14. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, no spoilers. You're 30 seconds ahead of me.
No, you are
And
30 seconds ahead of me.
oh yeah, I
Yeah.
meant to say 30
I,
seconds
I, I,
behind
I'm
me.
watching the free kick. So have they broken and scored? That's the question.
Nope.
So there's no big deal then if they break and they still don't score, right? But somehow or another, after all this that's been happening, when we were doing the early matches,
Hmm.
right, there
Yep.
was a lot of extra injury time and all that, right?
Hmm.
But the injury time more or less have petered out a bit, right? Okay,
Yeah.
now I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. So I think it's fair to say that that was obviously a time early on in the tournament when teams were still struggling a great deal to cope with the heat. A lot of matches were being played in the day. Don't forget. Now, of course, I think they're sort of evening games over there
Oh,
in Qatar,
oh,
and
now I see it.
it's
Yeah,
probably not so hot. And
yeah.
I lived in the Middle East for about 6 years, and I can tell you that with regard to the climate there, it does get exceptionally hot at times. But because there's very little humidity in comparison, you don't sweat as much. In stark
Ah,
contrast, if we were to go to Madras, where I am, or Kuala Lumpur, where I'm sure you are,
yeah,
it will be a little bit humid
yeah,
because
you
of
sweat a
the
lot.
close, because of the location, geographical location, and also it might be a little bit closer to the sea. But
Mm, yeah, I
again,
understand.
when it comes to having a tournament in Asia, teams have to expect these conditions. But at least when it was held in 2002, it was at the end of the season and teams would have had more time to acclimatize. The fact that it was hurriedly scheduled into being held in December meant that teams would have had to take a hastily arranged break in the middle of their club seasons, and there wouldn't be any time to acclimatize as such.
Hmm.
Now,
No,
people are going to say, yeah,
but
pe-
Nani,
oh,
there
yeah.
is the other plus point actually for the players playing in England, because if the players are playing in England, right? If the World Cup is held in the summer, right? They've gone through a long season, right? And by the time they reach
Mhm.
that long season, right, they take a 1 month break, then they come back into training again. It's very hard for them maybe to get back into sync. That's why this World Cup, right, is more or less how you say it, acclimatized for the big players, right? Because playing right in the middle of the season, they are actually still in that kind of call fitness mode, which they still have, right? So that's why maybe certain countries are not acclimatizing too well, but for certain, maybe for the English players, they are used to it because like now, if you're playing this now in the Premier League, right, you're going into the festive season where you'll be playing games like nearly, two to three games a week, right? And they already had to go through it during the pre-world before World Cup. They were already playing 2 to 3 games a week. So I guess it more or less benefit the bigger players, right? Playing bigger what call in bigger leagues, right? But let's see how it goes because it's still going to be a long tournament. Another 14 or 13 days to go before the final, and there'll be more rest time in between. And the players, I guess now you're already in the round of 16. You talk about acclimatization. Oh, Japan scores.
Yep.
Oh,
Well, they're
Japan
not going to
scores
check it because I'm sure there's no offside. And the
Mhm.
marking for the number 25, Maeda, who scored, was pretty much non
Behind
existent,
the players.
really.
Yeah. Now, Japan scores is a good thing because that shows that means now Croatia will have to come out and go at them, right? So
Yeah.
I guess
Wait, they're checking it. They're checking it. And
is there an offside? Nah. Is there a header back? But it goes backwards.
nope, the goal stands. So it's
Yeah, the goal
Japan 1,
stands.
Croatia nil.
The goal will stand.
Yeah. But again, that just goes to show that the Croatian
Oh,
defending was,
Tomiyasu got the cutback.
static and quite sloppy, really.
Yeah. Nah, maybe it's the age thing. Maybe it's an age thing, right? The goal stands. The VAR check. Yep. But for you, you know the goal stands. For me, I'm still a VAR check. 30 seconds
Yeah.
behind you.
I get that. Yeah. I get that.
But the thing is that the World Cup, I mean, not generally in the World Cup, right? With all the technology coming in nowadays, the goal celebrations sometimes become a bit of a damn squid. You celebrate like crazy, then you go into the check, then it's not a goal. Then that is another mental part that hits you. You get what I'm saying? You thought you scored a goal and then you don't get it. Then whether that's how you recover from that, right?
Yeah, I get that completely. And there'll only be 2 minutes of added on time. So what you said about the added time petering out has, proven. But
Yeah,
in the second half, invariably, you get a little bit more in terms of stoppage time.
yeah, because of the
And
substitutions. Because I think for every substitution they will give up to 30 seconds to a minute. You know,
yep,
yeah,
yeah,
for and then
I wouldn't be surprised if Dalic makes a couple of one or two substitutions at half time because he
yeah.
certainly wouldn't have expected to see his side down now. And there's only 1 minute left of the stoppages, so
Hmm.
I don't see Croatia pulling back from this. And I think in the
Yeah.
run up to that goal, you saw a pretty poor piece of miscommunication between the defense and the goalkeeper. Livakovic
Yeah.
was going to about to collect that, but
He pulled back. Yeah. He
yeah,
pulled
and
back.
so it
Yeah.
was the number 6 for Croatia who played uh, the attack on side. But
Yeah, number six. All right. Who's number
yeah,
six? Yeah. Right. But like I said, it's coming to the end of the first half. Maybe some of the Croatian players were, tiring out and maybe switching off. That's when you have things that happen, right? Once you mentally switch off, you don't do what you're supposed to do, right? Number six. Oh, one hand is out of the other hand, further out
yep,
of the other hand. Yeah. But at least the decision's a bit faster nowadays, right? Because with the AI playing its part. So I guess
yeah.
uh,
Of all people, it's Dejan Lovren.
oh, Dan Lovren, yeah, yeah. Remember what happened to Dan Lovren? Yeah, yeah. When Spurs beat, yeah, Liverpool. Yeah, Spurs beating Liverpool, right? Uh, it is what it is. But now let's see what happens, right? I guess it's over for you.
Nope, still going on. And
Still going on. It should be over soon, right? I'm already at 140, 150. You get a corner out of it? Okay. Will Croatia score in the corner?
I don't think they will. The referee will blow his whistle, and that will be that. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I'm just need to go somewhere, but I will see you back in about a minute or two. Yeah.
No, no problem, right? I'll hold the fort, right? So I guess what has happened is that Japan has got the late goal in the first half, and it is what it is. Japan is leading, right, by a goal, and that will make it interesting because Croatia will have to come out and play, right? Croatia will have to come out to play, right? Right? Croatia will have to come out to play, right? But halftime, all right, right. So Maeda has scored for Japan, right? And he's a Celtic player, right? Celtic player, right? There's at least a bit of Scottish representation there. uh, Halftime, Japan won, Croatia nil. Let's change the banner. So at the moment, Japan is 1, Croatia is 0. Right? Looks like Japan 10-0. 10, Croatia 0. Yeah. Like I was been saying, right? Japan came out stronger in the dying minutes of the half, right? Right. And big up Reload, long time no see. Good to see you on. Hope you've been doing well. Japan is leading. But of course, I'm torn between Perisic and Japan being an Asian country. Of course, I have to support Japan as an Asian country, and hopefully Perisic put up a good show. And if Dalic takes off Perisic, then I'll be all supporting Japan all the way, right? Because Perisic won't be playing then. And if Croatia loses, right, Perisic will be coming home early, right? Coming home early to recover and to rest and to be prepared for the Premier League season continuation, right? For the Premier League season continuation. Ball power, big up, right? And what about your thoughts on the game, guys? That you who are still in the chats, right? Any expectations? Do you think that Croatia will come back and create something? Will we go into extra time? Will we go into penalties? Will Japan take more advantage of the aging Croatian team? Right, right. And what Reload says that if Perisic plays many more games, he'll be in a wheelchair and it'll be Sessignon in every game. There's a possibility for that, Reload. There's a possibility for that. But of course, we don't expect that. We hope that, all our players will come back healthy and safe, right? Healthy and safe, right? Because I think we still have a lot of players representing the countries in the World Cup, right? Spurs players in there, right? At the moment now, if this goes through, Japan, no, we won't. We'll Perisic come back, but of course we still have got Richie and Sonny coming up next. It will be the Richie and Sonny we call showdown for against Brazil and South Korea. And when you're talking about Morocco and Spain, we don't have any players involved there. And of course, you're talking about Portugal and Switzerland. We don't have any players involved, I guess, in those countries, right? So at the moment now, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. If whether Croatia can uh, pull out a rabbit out of their hat, right, to win this game, or let's see what happens from there. At the moment now, the game was a bit I call a lot of moving around, a lot of moving around. The energy was there, the intensity was there, but not much goals and not much shots on goals being created. But at least in the end, Japan has got their first goal. So in this second half coming up, Croatia will have to come out and do something. And if they don't, I guess Japan will be the only second country to actually get into the quarterfinals, right? After South Korea, right? It's been a long time since we have an Asian country in the quarterfinals. But of course, there's going to be the hope there, right? And of course, let's see what happens after this, right? Let's see what happens after this. And if I'm not mistaken, after that, Japan might have to either play Morocco, or sorry, will more or less have to play Brazil or South Korea, right? And it's hard to say if South Korea beats Brazil tonight. Okay, that will be the biggest upset in the World Cup, right? At the moment, right? Croatia's leading. Nope, Japan is leading. Sorry, Japan is leading. Right. Mm-hmm. There'll be some. Even the England French game now they are looking to might go even go into penalties, right? So at the moment now, so there's not
I don't
much.
believe that's going to go into penalties, to be honest, because just taking a look at the way Mbappe played against Poland,
Mm-hmm,
um, obviously the Polish defence left a lot to be desired, and had it not been for Chesney, they would have conceded at least three more. But with a player like him in that sort of form, I don't see any team, uh, you know,
yeah. No, but
uh,
let's say now,
coming to
if
grips with
Japan wins, right, they will be either facing Brazil or South Korea, right,
it.
in the quarterfinals. That's how it ends up, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yep,
Yeah. So at the moment now, if that happens, right, that means you'll be guaranteed a what kind of Asian team going to the semifinals. But of course, when you talk about whether South Korea will be able to beat Brazil, right, that's one of a big hell of a task that we're looking at,
it
right?
is.
Yeah.
And I think if there is a mitigating factor, is that the players who were now injured, Teles and Jesus, I think
Mm-hmm.
they are both bench players who weren't picked to play Brazil's first game against who was it? I believe it was Serbia. So um,
Mm-hmm.
it probably wouldn't really hurt them that much. And you take a look at the strikers, for instance, after Neymar and Richarlison, it would normally be Rodrigo and Vinicius Jr., who would be considered the main attackers as such,
Yeah.
with Jesus being well down the pecking order. So, um,
No, but money in this World Cup, right? With what's been happening, you need your whole squad to be involved, right? Because have you seen most of the games that's been going on? The managers or the head coaches, right, have been actually using all their substitutes because they know that if you don't use all your substitutes, right, and if the other team bring on fresher players, right, you will lose out on the freshness on the pitch. That's
I
how I see it.
completely agree. I completely
Yeah,
agree. And never
yeah,
mind the substitutions, there will be some tactical changes to the starting
yeah,
lineup. Take a look at
yeah,
Saka being brought in for Rashford, for instance. But
yeah.
again, invariably in the squad of 26, there will also be one or two players who will be destined not to see any action. And that's sort of the way the dynamics or the demographics go, really. You
That's
take a
true.
look at
Yeah,
Argentina,
but
for instance, the likes of
yeah.
Paulo Dybala have not
Oh
had
yeah,
any minutes. And you
yeah.
know, whether he will actually get a chance against the Netherlands, it will remain to be seen because, the likes of Julian Alvarez and Enzo Fernandez have been performing very well. That decision of Alejandro Gomez Villaverde was a questionable decision. He never lent much to the game at all. Hopefully, if Di Maria is fit, he will play in that quarterfinal. But
That's
again,
true.
there are some players who just really won't get to play very much, and because hey, if for example you're a part of a nation which has selected 5 or 6 strikers, and you are fifth or sixth in the pecking order, unless there is any major catastrophe, you won't even get a look in, and that's the crux of it.
Yeah, that's
So
true. That's true. Right.
with
But like
Jesus,
you said,
yeah, yeah, go ahead, sir.
no, no, because you see, like the games, like when Brazil they already won the first two games, right? They had to do a lot of changes, so they had a chance to actually use more or less of the other players, right? But like you're talking about teams like like Argentina, they lost their first game, so in their day, that last game became very important for them to win. So I guess that's what maybe Dybala didn't get a chance to come on. If they had beaten Saudi Arabia in the first game, right, and they were 3 points ahead, I mean 6 points already. They confirmed their position in the group, right? Then maybe you do your changes in the last game, which is what we saw. That's why maybe Brazil lost to Cameroon. Maybe that's why Tunisia beat France, right? Because they did wholesale changes, right? And like you said, if you can't do wholesale changes to teams like what we have now, when they have not actually synced properly together without having a proper preseason, right? So that's that's the scenario I see. But of course, losing to certain teams that you are not supposed to lose, then that is the even Portugal, right, losing to South Korea, right, in the last game, right, to let South Korea go through, and Uruguay, right, Uruguay being kicked out of the tournament, right. So sometimes I don't know, maybe there's certain things that has been set up to happen, right? But
Yeah, I'm so glad that South Korea were able to pull off that win, and
yeah,
seeing Luis Suarez go from being exultant and elated to being deflated and absolutely distraught, it made
yeah,
my day. Cheating
yeah.
scum. Did I mention that he's a cannibal and a racist as well? And
Yeah,
yeah, it was a bit
yeah,
sad for Paulo Bento, obviously, because he was a player and a coach for Portugal. So,
yeah,
I mean, obviously, from behind the scenes, it was his tactics that were being applied anyway. So he still had the satisfaction. But it
yeah.
was amazing.
But,
It
but,
really was.
but,
And
but the thing
that
is
match
that
is not. Yeah, go ahead.
right, Portugal had already qualified. You get what I'm saying? So it's not that it's
So
not to
had
say that
Brazil,
yeah, yeah. So it's not to say that there's something that much to lose if even if they lost, right? So the thing is that it was for Uruguay to come out to score at least 3 or 4 goals, or
and they
for
couldn't do that.
Ghana, yeah, for Ghana to draw. You know what I'm saying? If Ghana drew
Yeah.
that game, they've gone through. Simple as that, right?
Yeah.
So another on that day,
Ghana
Ghana did.
choked. Ghana choked,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
after that penalty miss, you just thought it would be deja vu all over again, and that's how it's proved.
yeah,
But
yeah.
again, I've also been saying that with regard to Argentina, them losing their
First game.
them losing their first game was the best thing that could happen to them, because they've
Yeah,
been in knockout mode ever since. They had to
yeah.
beat Mexico, they had to beat Poland, and they've done that, and they've ensured that they topped the group quite
Hmm.
comfortably in the end. Of course,
Yeah,
Mexico
that's
and
true.
Poland
That's
drawing
true.
was another big favor, but they knew
Yeah,
what the stakes were and they responded effectively.
yeah.
And
That's true. Sometimes losing is a good thing, right? When
yep,
when you're the most important thing, if you lose late, then it's considered it's a write-off game. But when you lose early, right, it's like a kick up the butt, you know. And then you have to wake up. You have to perform. It's to tell you that you're not just here. The group stages is not for you just to cruise by, and to take things not to be more serious about the games, right? And to tell the truth, the game against Australia I didn't watch, but the scores weren't that impressive for Argentina. It's not to say that they went out there and beat Australia 3-0-1, but if I'm not mistaken, it was an own goal by Argentina in the last 16 game against Australia too. So I guess the next game will be the real test for Argentina against Holland, because Holland will be a quality team. It's the same thing that you're talking about when England plays France. It's going to be a real test for England against France, right? And the better
mhm.
team will come out, and we'll see from there, right? Who will be playing? Who will be playing home in the semifinals? And if the way it's going, right, they're looking at what? An England, what? England, Portugal, or England, Brazil semifinal, something like that, right? If they
Argentina,
go,
Brazil, maybe England against Portugal, but
yeah.
I'm actually hoping for Switzerland to upset the apple cart and beat Portugal
Mm.
in this stage because again they're playing
Oh, you got
tomorrow.
Xhaka there, right? Yeah, Xhaka to beat Ronaldo. Yeah,
You bet.
yeah, yeah.
They're a well drilled team, the Swiss, and obviously the way they played
Uh,
against the Cameroon and of course against Serbia proved that they have the ability to score goals and really perform as a unit. So
hmm hmm Yeah, but like a lot of people are saying, right, when you come to cup tournaments like this, right, you must have that slight pragmatism in your squad and in the tactics that you have, right? Is number one is not to lose, right? And number two is that if you get your chance, you have to take it and grab it. So I guess what we see now is that Japan has done that, right? They had their chance, they took it and they grabbed it, right? So of course now what we are waiting for is to see what is Croatia's response. Will Croatia come out and actually try to put Japan to the sword, right? If Croatia doesn't do that, but the only thing you fear that if Croatia spends so much energy, right, to get that equalizer, will the last 5-10 minutes plus the injury time actually play a part? Because we did see that in which game was that, right? Where was it? Maybe the South Korea game against Ghana, right? When South Korea put all the when they came back from 2-0 down, right? They put it all there, but in the end, after Ghana got the third goal, they threw the kitchen sink at them, and I'm sure we did the watch along for that, right? And
mhm,
they couldn't what call recover from that, right? But
yeah.
yeah, are you gonna kick off soon?
Well, I've already kicked off, and so you should be kicking
All
off
right.
right about now.
Yeah, about 30 seconds. Japan is kicking off.
Yep, 30 seconds around about exactly. So,
Yeah, yeah, 30 seconds ahead of me. All right.
yeah, so Japan kicked off, and already they started a little bit of an attack.
Mm-hmm.
And they certainly look the sharper and fresher team at the moment. And I think Croatia have been made to look their age, as you said.
Mm-hmm.
Dalic will now have to work really hard to try and, use his subs
Mm.
very well. But
Yeah. Any substitutes
Croatia,
in the halftime?
no
All the
substitute.
same.
Also, all the
Surprisingly,
same. Well,
no subs for both teams. Huh? That's
no.
surprising. Yeah, but that's the thing. You see, you're entitled to do 3 rounds of subs now. So if that happens, then it will prolong the injury time thing, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
it will
Unless
definitely
you
do
change,
so.
unless you change 5 players at one time, then. uh,
I still have a prediction that Croatia will win, but it'll be by 2-1. So they're going
mm.
to have to
So
work really hard if they want to make my prediction come true. Of course, they
yeah,
don't even know who the hell I am, but it is what it is.
yeah. I don't know, but let's see. Let's see how long Perisic will last. Now, do you see all the aircon holes there
Yeah, I
in the
do.
wall? Yeah, that's how they get the air conditioned pitch is getting on, right? So, yeah. But I thought if you really wanted a real effective aircon, wouldn't the aircon holes be higher up a bit so the cold air could actually simmer down?
Yeah, and once again, a very near disastrous miscommunication
Defending
between the defense and the goalkeeper.
for
Okay,
Croatia.
sorry. Yeah, for Croatia. So you're going to see that right now, and
Okay.
it's
That means what you said. No, no, what you're saying. I said was right. What Croatia is showing their age, right?
yeah, but I think if Dalic fails to take the team further, he might leave after this World Cup, and maybe
Yeah,
some of the other players who were, ostracized by him could fancy their chances of coming back. We'll have to
yeah.
see.
Now we'll see that who takes over the national team then, right? And to tell you surprise, I'm quite surprised Yoshida is still playing for Japan.
Yeah, he's been there a long time, hasn't he?
Yeah. I think he's about 33 now, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm.
Yeah. But I still remember him playing for Southampton. If I'm not mistaken, now he plays for the Bundesliga or something like that, or he's playing back in Japan. I don't know. Hmm. Did you see the TikTok video where the English players were celebrating with the England fans?
No, I didn't see that. I'm not really the biggest fan of TikTok, to be honest.
Okay, that's a weird thing. And none of the England fans were English uh,
Mm.
in the hotel.
Yeah, he's still in the Bundesliga with Schalke. Actually, they
Yeah.
got relegated, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah. Or did they survive? Or they were relegated last season? Yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm. So let's see who's going to flinch first, right? I guess what the Japanese coach now will be doing is that he's going to, like I was saying, right? During the first half, they were running a lot. So I think that was one of the tactics is to tire out the Croatian players, and
Hmm.
the superior fitness of the Japanese players will come through, right?
Yep.
And I guess he's still going through the same plan. So while that's happening, okay. Any results from here? No, goes backwards. Oh, luckily, but that's offside. Hmm. Nothing came of it. So I guess the tactic will be now we just continue what you got to continue, right? Run the Croatians to the ground, and then when time comes along, let's see whether who flinch first, whether Delish will do the changes first, or will he, try to go toe to toe with the Japanese, and maybe the Japanese will bring on players, right? Because there's still players like Mitoma and all that still not on yet, right? And don't forget, Mitoma the one part of the player that created a goal against Germany, right?
I think so, yes.
Yeah. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see how that turns out, right? We'll have to see how that turns out. But at the moment, Japan is dominating the ball. Yeah, Japan is having more possession than
Looks that
I
way,
see it.
but Croatia still have all their experience. They're going to try and use their better positional sense to try and find a way through. But
It's not working out. And Japan is okay. Luckily, Lovren does a good header backwards. Right, Lovren has a good header backwards. Okay, at least Croatia now has a bit of attacking. Hmm. Now Croatia's on the attack. Is there a penalty? No.
no penalty.
No, when the players switch off like that, right? That's when you can counter attack quickly.
Yep.
But there's still somehow another. There's still no proper cross coming in to actually. Uh, okay. Kamada, Petrovic, Doan. Okay, between midfield and defensive line. So, hmm, Petkovic is the striker, center forward for Croatia. Right. But I think what is happening is that, right, Croatia all these years has actually been what called being dependent on Modric. Okay,
Yep.
yeah, and I guess in this tournament it shows that age has actually caught up with him, right? So that's going to be the big, how you say, decision when the new, whether if this current manager will still be around, or when the new manager takes over or head coach takes over. Is it actually time to let Modric go? Right? Oh, Japanese corner. Any results from there?
We'll see.
Right? And the Croatian players look tired.
Yep.
My dear.
They look exceptionally tired. And Dallas is going to have to make some really big changes.
Okay. Soon. Right?
You
Is he
bet.
doing any changes now? Yeah, most probably gonna
But
hide this now.
again, though, when it comes to Japan with the ball, for the most part, they've lacked any kind of conviction and have been able to allow Croatia to win the ball back off them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I guess at the moment now, that's what the Japanese are doing, right? A lot of movement, a lot of running around. I guess that's one of the tactics is to tie down the your opposition.
Yeah.
Right.
Mexico tried that against Argentina, but when Messi, of course, weaved
Yeah.
his magic, that was over and done with. Ooh, whoa, 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 whoa!
So
You're gonna
Croatia,
like what you're gonna like what you're gonna see. You're definitely gonna like what you're gonna see. I promise, no spoilers. I'm sorry for breaking that promise, but you are definitely gonna like what you're about to see.
so Precious scores.
Yep, double delight for you.
Precious scores at last.
And so, Ben Kaufman, mate, if you're still in the chat, I've never doubted Perisic. I've always thought he was one of the the most influential players of this tournament. Now he's
Oh,
got his reward. Don't tell me they're
he
going to
was,
check for an offside now. I'm sure they
yep,
won't.
yep. His head is offside. Yep, yep. Lisa says, Ivan. Yep.
I think the keeper should have done better there. Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah,
When
so
you have a keeper, when you have a keeper like Gonda, who isn't exactly the tallest, he can't save that shot like that. Kawashima would have kept that out for sure. But
he's on side.
yep, onside.
He's on side, and he's behind the penalty spot. It's a long way
Yeah.
out.
I don't underestimate how important that goal is, mind you, because
Yeah,
Japan had the idea that they were still in the ascendancy, but now that they've been rocked back, they're going to have
yeah,
to do it all over again.
yeah. And that's the mental part that comes in.
14th World Cup match for Ivan Perisic, 6 goals.
Mm,
What a
that's
player
true.
he has been. And of course,
Yeah.
when Modric retires, he will be expected, as I've said, to assume the
Captain.
captaincy of the team,
Mhm.
unless he retires himself, that is.
He's 33 himself, bro. So, but Modric is 37, right? Or 34, I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
That was a good save from Livakovic right there, wasn't it?
Hmm. So that means now Japan will have to come out again.
Yep, but they have a corner, and that's rather
Oh,
unconvincingly.
yeah.
And
Mm,
so it could very well be a Brazil-Croatia match. That would be a nice way for Modric to end his career. But
mm,
again, there's more than half an hour left. Still many
yeah,
a slip between the cup and the lip, as we would say back in England.
yeah. That's true. But at least now you see that the Japanese will be pressuring them, right? So let's see how effective will Croatia's counter attack be. That's how I see it. Because if I'm not mistaken, Croatia is just sitting back now, absorbing the pressure from Japan. Right. Hmm.
As you say that, they just you just watched another terrific run from Ivan Perisic again, which could have
Yeah.
led to a goal, but I think the poor fella lost his footing. But you see
Yeah.
now that that goal has given a slight ascendancy to the Croats.
Yeah.
I mean, ever since their that breakout tournament in France, I believed that Croatia would certainly continue to be a force in the European game, and that's how it's proved. The other Baltic nations have not really been able to, uh, live up to that.
Okay. According to Lisa, Maddie Hayes says the Perisic is now Croatia's all-time leading goal scorer in a major competition, just like Kane. Big up, big up, big up. And of course, Reload says Croatia almost got go almost always go into extra time in knockouts. I think it's every time except one. Yeah, but
Now, if memory serves me right, when they reached the semi-finals in France, I don't think they went to extra time even once.
hmm. All right, but let me do this. Time to change the Croatia one, Japan one. So now it's 11. But like I've been saying, right, the Japanese will still come and go at the Croatians, right? Ah, soft shot, I guess. Clash of feet. So 2 players down. And don't be surprised, Manny. This you might end up with 8 minutes injury time or something like that, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. And that's why with 8 minutes injury time nowadays, you don't need extra time.
Yep.
Right. Oh, you got stamped. No, we were just saying that the Croatia players look tired and now they scored. Let's put some energy back into them. So let's see whether they will take the game to Japan, but it doesn't look like it. They've slowed
Well,
the game down.
they're just about to make a substitution now. Actually, they brought
Wow.
off Petkovic and brought on the number 17, Ante Budimir.
Okay.
Looks as though there will be some freshness in that midfield area. We'll have to see.
Hmm.
Wait, no, actually, Petkovic was one of the three strikers, so I wonder if he'll be brought on to complement Kramaric and Perisic. I'm not too sure.
Budimir. No, I guess
Mm.
that's what's going to happen. They're going to have to try, right?
Oh, wow. The game's heating up now.
It should heat up. Right? This is a quarterfinal. I guess more challenges will come in, more rest challenges come in, and then while tiredness come in, that you will have a lot of decisions which are going to be, tackles which are going to
Yeah,
be.
but if you're watching, I don't know if you're watching, but you've just seen a really terrific shot from Luka Modric. Well saved by the Japanese keeper Gonda, sort of at his height, expected to make that save, but he
Oh,
still did a good job
yeah,
and made it.
yeah.
And now we see Kovacic and Modric standing over the corner. Short corner,
Mm,
Modric brings it in, but no one on the end of that. And I mean, I just automatically go into commentator mode. And when I've been doing my watch alongs
uh,
with Hanno, he's allowed me free reign to sort of
Yeah, you can do
Oh
whatever
yeah,
you want.
yeah.
Yeah,
2018
I'm
World
okay.
Cup. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was talking about the '98 World Cup, so I'm going to research that. Give me a minute.
Yeah, 98 World Cup. Was Croatia even created in the 98 World Cup? We still play
They were
them.
third in '98 for crying out loud.
You're third. All right. That means they've had quite a good run, from 98 until now.
Yep.
That's a what 34-year run.
Uh huh. And
Yeah.
Japan have made a double substitution, including bringing off the goalkeeper Maeda. I wonder who'll be coming on. It's
Mitoma
Maeda and Nagatomo have come off, and
and
it's Mitoma and Asano.
okay. Mitoma plays for Brighton.
Yeah, Asano very nearly getting into the thick of it, but some good defensive work has put paid to that.
So they bring on two fresh legs in.
Yep.
Yeah, Mitoma was the one who gave. Okay. Yeah. No, but you're saying now, right? It's all about the fitness, freshness. And let's see who's gonna last longer now. It's 1-1 now. We're gonna go possibility going to extra time.
Oh yeah, I do stand corrected because they did actually go to penalties in the semi-final against Brazil, which they lost. That
Mm,
was a game where Patrick Kluivert hadn't had a magnificent performance and just lost out in penalties with Taffarel saving two, I believe. All in vain
mm.
as they went on to get creamed by France in the final.
You're talking about Brazil against
Croatia.
Holland, Croatia.
Yeah, Brazil. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was Brazil against Holland. My bad. Not Croatia.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
Croatia. Croatia,
yeah,
I think, lost their semi final to France. Yeah. Now I
yeah.
remember. It was Lilian Thuram who scored both goals after
Mhm,
Davor Suker put them ahead.
that's true. I don't know
Ooh.
if the Netherlands beat Argentina, they'll be one of the favorites.
Yep, and the Netherlands do look like a strong all-around team, especially if they could. I mean, what they've done, what Van Gaal was able to do by getting the best out of Dumfries and Blind and a few others, and
The
obviously with
pie.
Depay coming back to full fitness, that's also a big plus. But Argentina can't be counted out as long as they have Lionel Messi. Anything is possible.
Oh, wonder you went. Oh, so I guess now Croatia is putting the impetus on the Japanese.
Yep, and bringing on more substitutes in the process.
Mm, mm.
Pardon me.
Yeah. What time is it over there? 10 p.m.
Yeah, just getting close to 10.
Okay. Yeah, you're
And
two
I'm
hours
pretty.
behind me. Yeah, 2.5 hours behind me.
Yep, as always. I'm 2.5 hours behind Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaysia,
Mm.
the Philippines, all nations in that belt.
Yeah, more or less all nations. Yeah. Yeah, in our belt, we still got Vietnam, Cambodia, Myanmar, Thailand, Indonesia.
Yep, 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 yep. Thank you
Uh,
very much indeed for reminding me about that.
yeah, a lot of more countries in Southeast Asia. That's why I said I'd be surprised, right, if Southeast Asia doesn't group together to actually bid for a World Cup. That'll be an interesting one.
I would definitely like to see Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand come together.
Nah, I think that you need more countries because Singapore is too small, right? Malaysia is quite okay, but whether you have enough stadiums to actually host a proper World Cup, because if you want to host a World Cup, you don't want to host it like Qatar with stadiums of like 40,000 maximum and you go down to 20, 15,000 stadiums. When you want to host a World Cup, you want stadiums like above the 60,000 mark or the 50,000 mark stadiums, or minimum 40,000 mark stadiums, right? So
Yep.
yeah, that's how I see it. So if in Malaysia, I think we can more or less have about 3 or 4 stadiums that can actually host the World Cup, right? Singapore maybe one, Thailand maybe another 3 or 4. So there's about 7 stadiums. Will it be enough? Because don't forget, the franchise expands to 48 teams the next round that comes along, right? So there'll be more games to host, and I guess it'll be a longer World Cup nowadays,
Hmm.
right? Instead from being a 30, what called a month of a World Cup, we may end
Yeah.
up having a 40-day World Cup or
Yeah.
45
So
day World
I think in addition to the Merdeka Stadium, you also got the Bukit Jalil one, haven't you?
Cup.
And
We
one
don't
of
use
few
the
others.
Merdeka Stadium anymore. The Merdeka Stadium is too old. Now we have the Bukit Jalil Stadium, right?
Yeah.
That's actually our national stadium now. And then, of course, we have the Shah Alam Stadium, which Bukit Jalil can host up to 80,000. The Shah Alam can host up to 60 to 80,000. And of course, you will have to actually host one on the southern side where, Johor Darul Takzim, JDT, the top league team in Malaysia now, which can host up to 40,000 seater, right?
Hmm.
So those are the 3 stadiums I look at. Or maybe you got to look for one in East Malaysia, right? If you're not mistaken, that will be Penampang,
Hmm.
right? Yeah. So that one can
Right.
host up to about 40,000, right? Singapore, the
Yeah.
most to most, you have one national stadium that maybe can
Hmm.
host up to about 40 to 60,000, right? In
Yeah.
Thailand, I'm not sure. I'm not that sure about Thai. So
Yeah.
maybe
I don't
like
know why. I don't know why the Merdeka is not being used anymore. I'm just reading it right now. It's a
Merdeka
national
Stadium is,
heritage. It's a
yeah,
heritage building now.
yeah, because the that stadium, right, is actually right in the center of the city. So for logistic wise, right, it's no more logical for people to actually go to that stadium anymore. And it's very old, bro. 1957, right? And it's
Wow.
never been actually refurbished or updated and all that. So it's turned into more like a museum nowadays. I still remember when I was schooling, right? We used to have our sports days in Merdeka Stadium.
Wow.
Yeah, right. It was called Merdeka means independence. It was
Yep.
our independence stadium, right? And I used to study because the stadium used to be on top of the hill. My school used to be at the bottom of the hill,
Ooh, wow.
so we used to have our sports day right in the Merdeka Stadium, right? So that was one of the things that we used to do long time ago,
Oh, that's
long long
magnificent.
long long long
That's
time ago.
magnificent. That's
Yeah,
magnificent. It really is.
yeah, long time ago. And while the city now is expanded, so the Merdeka Stadium becomes more or less, a heritage site, not more used as an actual sports stadium anymore, right? And the Merdeka Stadium used to be the home of the city football team when they used to play in the league, but not anymore because they moved that too, right? So the big stadiums nowadays are actually owned by state leagues, football leagues.
Uh huh.
That's the thing with Malaysian league is that most of the professional teams are owned by the state. You see,
Right.
yeah.
Obviously, over here in Madras or Chennai, as it's of course now called, I still prefer to
Mhm.
call it Madras because, you
Ma-
know, I
You
mean, I
brought
have
up with
a
the name Madras, right?
no. I mean, like I was actually born and brought up in the UK, but yeah, I've
Yeah.
I've, I've listened to the name Madras most often. I
Yeah, the
have
thing is
a
that
degree.
you're talking about, like Bombay now is called Mumbai,
Yep.
right?
Calcutta is
Mumbai,
Kolkata. Bangalore is
yeah.
Bengaluru. They've changed their names, but I'm reminded
Yeah.
of,
But what about, like Delhi is new. I mean, New Delhi is still New Delhi, right?
I
There's a
think
few
they call it they call it Dilly now for some reason.
Delhi,
I'm
yeah.
reminded I'm reminded of a joke by the Canadian comedian Russell Peters who said the better India has been independent from the UK for the best part of say 75 years right now.
Yeah,
So yeah, more than 75 years. So the best time to change the names would have been when it was independent. So
yeah.
that's the thing to that there. Obviously, I think when it comes to universities still having the old names, it makes sense because you can't suddenly change everything with the protocol being as
So
it is.
you mean the Mumbai University is still called Bombay University?
I believe so, yes. But I was just
Okay.
about to say that over here in Madras, we have the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium where the football games are held.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, India has a decent tradition of football, especially over here. And
Mm-hmm.
the cricket will normally be played at the Chidambaram Stadium, which is
Mm.
in the more of the somewhat of the center north of the city.
How,
And
how,
if you want to
how
go to
big
the
are the
Nehru
cricket
Stadium,
stadiums
it's
in India?
what?
How big are the cricket stadiums in India?
Let me just take a look at the Chidambaram Stadium first.
Uh, Capacity you're talking about, right?
Yep.
Because, like you said, like Malaysia has got their own Super League, right? So what about India's got their own Super League too, right? And of course, what Rilo says is just recent, not entirely
Yeah,
history of
yeah. The
Malaysia. Yeah.
capacity of this stadium in particular is about 50,000. So
Wow. Or cricket
yeah,
stadium, yeah, that's good.
that's the cricket stadium, and I will talk about the Nehru Stadium right now. I've been to the
Yeah.
Nehru Stadium twice to watch the. It's Kamada who's coming off, and
Kamada
I
is
think
coming off.
he's yeah Kamada and Sakai is coming on now. So obviously a lot of youth being brought on by Moriyasu.
Okay. So I guess it's fresh legs time. Let's go into the 75th minute now. All right.
Yep. So they call it
So
the
the thing is
Marina
that
Arena.
yeah,
That has a
yeah.
capacity of about 36,000 seated, 40,000 in
Oh,
total. And of
okay.
course, yeah,
Yeah.
that is, of
But
course, the home stadium of the Chennai Football Club,
yeah.
which plays
But
in
the
the
other thing is
Indian
that
Super League.
if Southeast Asia actually bids for a World Cup, right? There's one conundrum there is Indonesia, right? Indonesia is a very big market, but Indonesian football history is not that good. You get what I'm saying?
No.
With the recent deaths of the stampede in the stadiums and all that, and then
Yes,
and in Indonesian football fans, they have their ultras and they are nasty,
exactly. I
really
mean,
nasty,
yeah, I
right?
mean, obviously, people think about the South American ultras, which
Yeah,
exist in countries like Colombia and whatnot.
yeah,
Indonesia, I can imagine, would be absolutely horrible.
yeah,
And about less than 15 minutes to go, this could very easily go to extra time.
yeah. That's I've been saying, right? This game is the game primed to go into extra time.
But
Yeah,
also it's at that stage where one goal can win this, and
yeah.
I think
No, but
sadly
the
for
problem is that with all the substitution and go on, right? The extra time will be the injury time. You know,
yep,
they might be throwing everything out when when you have 8 minutes of injury time or 10 minutes of injury time. That's like the extra time, right? But let's see what happens. And I said, let's see who's going to be fresher. Or the Japanese be fresher, right? And take the game, right? Take the games by the scruff of the neck and score one more or two more. Or will the Croatians just stifle them out and dull the game down, right? Or will the Croatian take the initiative and actually go and do something? Which at the moment they lack certain speed, and you still have and look at Mitoma. Yeah, yeah. I think the Croatians look more like they're gonna kill the game now. Yeah, right.
they could.
So yeah, they're saying that's why. See, if you put in Indonesia into the equation, right, it actually it's a bit scary. But also, you don't
Uh-huh.
forget, we still got Vietnam and Cambodia in the mix, and Myanmar, whether they are willing to join in the thing. Because while you're preparing for a World Cup, a lot of
Yep,
Perisic
Perisic
again.
again. What a performance he's had
Oh,
tonight.
oh, goalkeeper saves it.
Nope, that was actually a deflection from
Oh, deflection.
Tomiyasu.
Spurs
Gonda,
again. Spurs
yeah,
again. Arsenal.
yep, Gonda was nowhere near that.
Oh, yeah, that's a deflection. Tomiyasu still on the pitch, and Perisic is still on the pitch. That's my surprise. Because Perisic has not played more than about what 70 plus minutes per game. If he lasts that long.
I don't think Dalic can afford to take him off, though. If Dalic
Oh,
takes him off, He loses that attacking
Oh,
impetus.
oh, Doan gets kicked, and Perisic goes down. Oh no, not Perisic. Okay. Hmm. Interesting time. This is going to be an interesting time now, right?
Hmm.
Less than 15 more minutes to go. Right.
Yep.
So that's why I said
So f-
hosting the
so far, surprisingly, there have been no cards. The referee
yeah,
seems to have had some decent control over the game.
yeah. Now you're playing against the Japanese. The Japanese are not that nasty in any sense, you know. So usually, you know, if you're not that nasty, the cards don't come out that easily unless there's a really bad or rash tackle. But usually you don't see the Japanese doing that. Okay, here comes your first card. No, no cards. Yeah, but Croatia will be Croatia, right?
We'll see what happens here.
Okay,
Yeah.
nothing. But this World Cup is, to me, right, it's turned out to be a bit weird. You don't see a lot of the fans from overseas. That's how I feel, right?
Costs an arm and a leg to get to Qatar in the first place.
Yeah, and then I heard accommodations are crazy. You're paying like what, 100 over pounds a night for a hut? Oh, why didn't he shoot? Why didn't Tomiyasu shoot?
Should have shot.
Yeah, I should have shot. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. You're talking about, you're paying like what, 100, nearly 200 pounds a night just to stay in a tent, right? So that's crazy. Hmm. So I guess this Qatar World Cup has turned out to be like, a very high end World Cup, right? Not an affordable World Cup. So I'm not sure what's going to happen during the World Cup in America, right? Okay, here comes Japan again. Oh, that was a good block. Hmm. But it seems to be opening up a bit, right?
Yep, looks that way.
But do you think the teams will just try to play out and go for the penalty, or just somebody has to do something soon?
Yeah, I'm a little bit sad that you won't be able to stay up to watch Heung-Min
Yeah,
Son play because it's going to be too late for you. Yeah.
yeah, it'll be too late. Need to work tomorrow. But let's see if this game ends early, right? I may be able to catch a 1 hour nap or 1.5 hours nap, then wake up, watch the game, go back to sleep again. All right. Let's see
In
how it
any
goes.
case, in any case, in any case,
All right. But if this game goes into extra time, right, then that plan goes out the door. Right.
yep.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I can necessarily see either team going out to win, especially now, especially if they know that extra time can come into the equation.
No, but extra time you play another 15 minutes, half an hour. Will you want to play into that hand again? Right. But if you have if we say an offside, okay, offside or a foul. No, but if you want to win it, why wait until then? Right. So of course the coach will be thinking, if I go out and leave holes at the back and whoever counter attacks me, and if I lose, yeah. That's it. The fear of losing now is more than the fear or the what call the urge, to win, right? So let's see how that goes. Mm. Mm. And Morita plays for Benfica, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no,
Yep.
Morita plays for Sporting Lisbon.
Hmm.
I remember that name because we played Sporting Lisbon in the Champions League. If it's the same Morita, I guess it should be. Nope, Croatia is just playing the ball around. Mm. Perisic loses it. And surprised to see Perisic play the whole game now. Because in the previous games he was taken off quite early.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. All right. Looks like we're going to extra time, right? But don't
5 minutes
forget,
left.
yeah. But don't
Stoppages.
but don't forget injury time and all that.
Hmm.
Mm. But hard to say. Japan could be the team that the players will be turning, petering off, right? In extra time, do we get extra substitutions? I think you get extra one, right?
No, you still get the maximum of five.
Still get a maximum of five. All right.
Five for the whole game, extra time included.
If I'm not mistaken, Japan has made how many changes? Three or four, right?
Yep.
Same with Croatia. So I guess you get one more. And then of course you have the concussion substitute.
Hmm.
Yeah. Which how another some of this game there's no concussion.
Hmm.
Is it out? Okay, the ball is out this time. No controversial, right? Uh oh, nearly. Hmm.
And it looks as though they're bringing off Doan
Would that be the
and
last
uh,
change?
and bringing on Minamino.
Minamino,
Yep.
ex Liverpool Minamino.
Yep. The same.
All right. Let's see what you can do. Minamino is playing in Italy now, France. What's he gone back to Germany?
Monaco.
Monaco, France. Yeah. Hmm. Still no. Okay. Perisic is doing something now. What did Perisic do?
Didn't do anything from the looks of it.
Uh,
2 minutes left, and we're going to see how much stoppages will be added.
at least 5 though.
Could be 5, yes.
So I guess this is going to be the first game heading for extra time.
Yep. And obviously that will affect TV scheduling for, programming in between.
For who now? Because it's quite okay because they have about 2 hours, 2 hours in between before the next game.
Yeah. I think they've planned for that, obviously.
Yeah, they usually do. They used to be 3 hours in between, but nowadays they make it into 4 hours in between. So more advertisement time in between the games, I guess. All right. Because if you go into extra time, you take up more or less like 2.5 to 3 hours before it really ends. And if it goes into penalty, sometimes it gets into beyond 3 hours. So that is you know, the sad part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Tightening
Perisic,
it up.
surprisingly, is still on the pitch. So that means the Croatian coach ain't gonna take him off, right? They need him, I guess. No, not good enough. Oh, now that is a bad tackle. Here comes your first yellow card.
Yep. Took long enough, but it's finally here.
Yeah.
Oh, Christ. I have to make sure that my head is obscuring the reflection of the TV. I mean, obviously, I don't want to see this Kovacic, of all people, getting booked.
Yeah. How many extra time minutes? 5.
4.
4. Minimum. Plus this stoppage, it'll be 5.
Mm-hmm.
Time on extra time. So now, will Japan go all out to get the win, or will Croatia just sit back and hold it back, right? And see whether what's going to happen extra time. And I remember the days when during the World Cup you used to have the silver goal and a golden goal. Oh, those were the days.
Yeah, the golden goal obviously was what won it at that moment. I think they decided to
Uh,
take that away.
yeah. No, because it ended up right. The teams will just play for the penalties, and then the last half an hour of the game, right, is just watching two teams being so boring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they decided to do with the golden goal and silver goal rule or some things like that. And then they found out in the end of the day, right, it was a bit unfair if someone just after the 90th minute ends and in the first minute of extra time someone scores and it's over. You get what I'm saying? And then it reverted back to the old extra time rules, right? You play it all out, no matter how boring it gets, right? Because I guess the drama of the penalties will more or less compensate for all the boredom of the half an hour that you have to wait, right? I guess, like I said, going to extra time, unless Japan or Croatia can do something about this. And like what you says, experience head now is on, and whether you're going to just like play the game off, which is what the Croatian seems to be doing.
Again, one goal will win this.
Yeah.
The only question is, will it be now or will it be in extra time? Or will it go to
Yeah.
penalties? I don't
But
fancy Shuichi Gonda on penalties. I just don't think he has the stature to be able to save that many. But
yeah, but the thing is, sometimes penalties in this type of scenarios after playing after extra time, and like the England Euro final, right? The
yeah.
tiredness comes in, or the freshness is not there. You're not in sync.
Hmm.
Penalties, I always think, right? It's there for them to score. It's just whether you miss it or not.
Yeah.
Hardly ever the goalkeeper saves it, right? It's whether you put it across the bar, or into the net, right? That's how I see it. Hmm.
This could very well be the last attack of the game. What I'm
Yeah,
seeing now.
but they keep going backwards.
Yep. And
It's gone into extra time.
yep, extra time.
All right, extra time. Just hold on to the fort for a while I'll go and grab something to eat. I'll be back.
Yeah. Yeah, take your time. Take your time. Take your time. Oh man. Well, it had to happen. Two teams who basically have been spent on energy have decided to play out the remaining few minutes and go to extra time. Okay, well, I know that some of you will obviously be putting some chats in the window. Eugen will read all of them when he gets back. And what can I say? I mean, it was always going to be a clash of the youth and the exuberance of Japan with the experience and know-how of the Croatians. And I think you saw that when Perisic scored, the Japanese head started to drop a bit because they ended up realizing that they had to do it all over again. And since then, I mean, Livakovic was forced into a save, but apart from that, nothing really much. It's never nice when both teams just start playing for extra time and penalties. It's never nice. But as it stands, here we are now, and we have to find a way to endure what will be a painful period.
Yep. Can you hear me? Hey, money.
Yeah, sorry about that. I can hear you.
Okay. All right. Nah, I don't know. Got disconnected again. No, I just went out to get some buns and something to eat. Well, it's already about 1 a.m. my time. So it's my late supper. uh,
Yeah,
uh,
emphasis on the late.
emphasis.
One of the things I miss about Ramadan is the iftar parties and how everything goes on a little bit late. And
Yeah.
having the coin toss now between Modric and Yoshida,
All right.
looks as though Modric has won the toss. And where I'm watching, I've got Igor Stimac sitting in the studio. Stimac, of course, was a member of that 1998 side, which finished third. And
Mm-hmm.
now he's the head coach of the Indian national team.
Oh, all right. Well, that's good. Croatian.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm. So I
And
guess
Huddles. Yeah.
so. They're gonna start soon, or they started for you?
Not yet.
Yeah. I'm gonna munch on something at the moment.
So, decent gentleman that you are, you probably don't want your viewers to watch you eating, I suppose.
Yep, yep. But I guess you can still hear me chewing though.
Yeah. I
Yeah, but
often I often
voice
mute
of
my
Brahman.
I often mute my microphone,
Yeah.
and when if I have to eat on camera, I just put my head down so that you can't see me as such. But you just reminded me I need to have something to eat. And Japan have just kicked off where I am,
Mm-hmm.
so attacking from left to right.
Mm. So I guess now it's all about the fitness then.
Yep.
Mm. Now half an hour ago, right?
Yeah. Now, one mitigating factor is that Croatia have only made 2 substitutions, while Japan have made 4. So Japan don't have very many substitutions left. In fact, they only have one.
Mm-hmm.
And the only problem is, rather disconcertingly, neither Modric nor Perisic are off for Croatia. And it looks as though Dalic is putting all his eggs on the basket of seeing
Penalty?
no
If
penalty,
you
no
put,
penalty.
I think
He's putting.
if it's going to go in the penalties, right? You won't need Modric there. You won't need Perisic there to take the penalties. That's why he's not taking them all. That's one thing. Unless the Japanese scores in this extra time, right? That last substitute, I think, right? What the Japanese coach is doing is he's saving it for the penalties. He will take out the goalkeeper.
Gonda and then bring on Kawashima?
Mm, that's what I see. Right.
Could very well be.
Well, but unless somebody scores, then the game has to change. Right.
Yep.
Then you'll be asking, why didn't you do that in the first 90 minutes or so?
Yeah, but here's the thing. One of the things which I absolutely despise right now is this trend of substituting goalkeepers in just for penalty shootouts. I mean, it's a ridiculous trend. If you can't, to me, that sends a message that you can't trust your first choice goalkeeper because effectively you've got a penalty
Yeah, I
saving
mean,
expert as a safety net.
yeah, maybe some goalkeepers are better in penalties, and that's what you got to do. You got to do. You know what I'm saying? But remember what England did in the in the Euro finals in the
Yeah.
penalties against Italy. Southgate made the move too late, right?
Uh-huh.
Rashford and Wako. Who came
Sancho.
on there? Rashford
Rashford
and
and
Sancho.
Sancho, I believe, came on for penalties.
Yeah, Rashford and Sancho came off for penalties while they weren't even in sync with the game, right? So that's what basically cost them.
Yeah, speaking of substitutions, he should have brought Jack Grealish on in the second half and not in extra time.
Yep.
For that, I
He
could
probably
have
got the
forgiven.
win. Mm.
But again, like when it comes to goalkeepers, if you can't trust your goalkeeper to save penalties, why make him your first choice goalkeeper in that respect? And Australia did that when Andy Redmayne replaced Matt Ryan. Of
Hmm.
course, Tim Krul replaced Jasper Cillessen for Louis van Gaal's Dutch during that 2014 World Cup, if I'm
Hmm.
not wrong.
Yeah.
And in Italia 90, although Peter Shilton was magnificent in the goal during normal time and was still making some really good saves, he wasn't quite able to lay a finger on the German penalties. And after the fact, there was some questioning as to whether Chris Woods couldn't have been brought on, because Robson only made one substitution during that match, bringing off Captain Terry Butcher and bringing on Trevor Steven. So maybe Chris
Yeah.
Woods could have replaced Shilton, and then maybe, the maybe if he had done that, England could have reached the final. But
All right.
again, it's all ifs and
And
buts,
that's
sweets and
that's always
nuts.
the England's problem, right? The goal of their penalties.
Yeah.
That's always the weak part of it. Right? Right. I know. But like this season, he did. He gave it up.
Tomiyasu and Perisic again clashing.
Mm. Yeah, let's talk about Tomiyasu. We were supposed to get him instead of getting Royale.
Well, hey, listen, you took Spence and Basuma away from us, so
Mm.
we've got one over on you now.
You were linked to Tomiyasu for 3 months. That was during the Olympics, right? He was supposed to come, waiting for him to join. And Tomiyasu wanted to be at Spurs.
Well, that changes a few things. Because for some reason, Mikel Arteta seems quite content to play him as an inverted left back ahead of the
Mhm.
left-footed Kieran Tierney, who, for me, is obviously a great deal better going forward and also fine
Right.
defensively. The thing with Arteta, which I really despise about him, is that he thinks he's too clever for his own good.
Yeah, but have you noticed Tierney gets injured too easily? He recovers, he comes out, play 3 games, he gets injured. Then he's out for 2 3 months. Then he comes back, recovers, plays, injures again, and he's out again. I think what you said, no matter how good you are, you're not playing when you're injured. Uh,
Mhm.
and I think Arteta has more or less lost his patience with him. Uh, I mean, there's a rumor that you guys want to sell him, right?
You mean you
Tierney.
mean us taking him? Oh, Tierney. Yeah.
Mm.
Well, we might be selling him at the end of the season. He could possibly go to Aston Villa to reunite with Unai Emery.
Ah, he was an Emery buying, right?
Yep.
Interesting. That's interesting. I'll be back. Hold on.
Now Croatia about to make a double substitution. Are they bringing off Luka Modric? Yes, they are. Well, it had to happen. And Perisic is in fact being given the armband, changing of the guard. Kovacic is also coming off. So it seems to me as though Dalic is not really content to play for penalties. He wants to bring on some freshness in that midfield and try and finish off the game in extra time. Modric is being replaced by
Okay, Modric has been withdrawn. So what's happening now? Is Croatia
yeah.
going all out to win?
They should be, because if you're going to take away Modric, I think it's probably the better decision. Nikola Vlasic and Lovro Majer have come on. Kovacic has also come off. I think it's fair to say that if you're going to take away the player for who would normally be trusted to take a penalty, it means that you're trying to have a strategy in mind of winning the game.
Yeah, but the problem is that you're already taken off Modric, right? But of course, Modric has not been, up to standard at the moment, right?
He's done okay, but he just looks tired.
Of course, he's tired.
And
He's 37, right?
yep.
Right. But I'm surprised Perisic is still on.
You and me both.
One thing, will they have the last? Will their legs last that long?
Perisic should be fine. Perisic has looked really good this match. He's been the one who's been doing a lot of the running, and not a very good header there by Tomiyasu, and Perisic can claim that. This is what you get when you get someone like Ivan Perisic. You get experience, you get know-how.
Yep. So I guess what Croatia now is trying to do is to just get that one chance, right? Score it, and shut up shop.
The problem is they can't afford to shut up shop.
I know, but you still have to get the one goal first.
I'm not too sure why the Japanese players are up in arms at the moment, but we'll see.
Perisic is doing well, seriously.
Yep. Well, the action's still going on. 2 minutes to go till the end of this half. Neither team really wants to press, but eventually something has to give. That should be headed away, cleared.
No, but it's looking more like they are. Hmm, but to be
Hmm.
surprised, right? The Croatians are putting it in the effort now. The Japanese are defending more.
Hmm.
So most of you wondering what's the game plan on. Croatia dominating the ball, right?
Yep. I'm really surprised that Japan might be playing for penalties, but they could be strong on the counter. And we're just taking a look now.
For you know, maybe they just like playing out this call this half of the extra time, and then maybe in the second half of the extra time they will go all out. Pointless to go and try to kill the game so early on in extra time because if not, well, if you do that, a lot of pressure will be coming on you in the ending
Yep.
of the game.
Yeah.
Oh, Mitoma runs all the way through and shoots. Hmm.
Good save by Livakovic there.
Nah, but it was straight at
Now
him.
that now there's a corner.
Oh, Steak is on. Hold on. Steak, if you want to be on, I'll send you the link, but let me go and do something. I'll be back really soon. Hold on. Need to wash my hands. Just had an orange.
Wouldn't be surprised if Japan score now, to be honest.
Okay, I'm back. All right. Hi, guys. All right. So we're in extra time, injury time of extra time. Right.
Mm.
If you want to hop on Steak, I'll throw the link into the chat and reload. What does reload says? Right. Situation managers must stick in a word each other and say pens. Yeah. Yeah. Sort of a mutual under truth understands at least first half yeah, that's true. Right. Alexander Hilton says steak, right? And Rilo says Jerry transfer window is going to be good. The Don is making great transfer deals using his phone calls. Allowed daily. Yep. The Don is going to jail, reload. Right. But at the moment, it seems like all of a sudden Japan is putting on the impetus. Right. I'm not sure whether Mani knows what I'm talking about. The Don, the Don. You know, we call Paratici the Don, Mani.
Oh.
Yeah. And because of the Juventus issue now, he's being there's an indictment against him or something. Arrest warrants have been out, so I'm not sure whether he's been summoned back to Italy to answer some questions about the dealings that he has with Juventus. So let's see how that goes. All right, it's coming, Steak. You joining us, Steak? If you're joining us, I'll drop the link in.
Oh, steak.
Yeah, Steak is here.
Yeah, just chicken for me tonight, but whatever.
Just chicken. So I guess all the subs are done, right? Yeah.
No. There's still one
Oh,
more sub left for each team.
yeah, yeah. Party G goes to jail. Suddenly, all the signings we face will have face tattoos and beneath their eyes. Just a coincidence, right? And of course, what Snake says, to be frank, signing Emerson is a criminal offense. That's more or less true. Yeah, Emerson. All right. Yeah. Entire Juventus board resigned. Definitely innocent, though. Yeah. Money makes them innocent, right? Reload. Money makes everyone innocent. You have enough money, you're always innocent, right? That's what our world has turned into, right? Mm. Innocence can be bought. That's the sad part, right?
Well, Japan have actually made their final substitution. It's not a goalkeeper. They brought on the number 17, Tanaka. So if it goes to
Okay.
penalties, it will be up to Gonda to try and save everything. I
So
don't
I guess,
see him doing very much, to be honest.
yeah, but you're looking at, will they be able to get the goal in the extra time, right?
And Croatia have now made a double substitution.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. So now
Who's
you
coming
can
up?
make 6 substitutions if it goes to extra time.
See, I
And
told you, right?
Perisic has come off.
Perisic come off.
Well,
You can
boy,
do
that
six
is the gamble.
substitution. No, like you said, you've really taken off Perisic, you've taken off Modric. More or less, Croatia is going to defense mode then. Yeah, in extra time you get an extra sub, if I'm not mistaken. That's why maybe there's still one more sub that comes from the Japanese side.
And that could very well be bringing off Gonda for either Daniel
Yeah,
Schmidt or Eiji Kawashima.
yeah, yep. Alex, they're taking off Perisic because they're going to go for the pens, right? Like what Relo said, right? The agreement is to go for the pens. Mm-mm. Nope, not that way. Yep, yep. Sub you on for pens. I'll save all the shots. Yep, stay. Yep, stay.
A1.
Yep.
Pretty poor pass there from whoever it was. And
Mm-hmm.
here's the thing about Croatia. They've also started to become a little bit sloppier with the ball at their feet.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I guess.
I really don't know if I can stick around for watch the penalties. I mean, it has to go to its conclusion, and yet my better instincts say, no, son, you've got to stick around.
Yeah, yeah. All right, the link is in the chat. Anyone who wants to jump on to watch the penalties, right? That's what we're predicting. All right, that'll be the exciting part. Yep. But can't make any more subs. Okay. Croatia has used all their subs, right?
Mm-hmm.
All 6 of them. But Japan has still got one more. Right. But what Reload says is that normal time you get 5 subs to make, but make 3 subs plus half time, and extra time you get an extra sub, so it's possible. So it's possible. Yeah, possible. All right. Mhm. I will join soon, Steak says. All right, Steak, join us for the penalty. That will be exciting. Right. Because you will see if there are any saves, money will be like going first. Right. Yeah. And that's why there's double changes common. Yeah. Yeah. And if Japan goes to the quarterfinals, that'll be their first time entering the quarterfinals in the World Cup, if I'm not mistaken. Right. That'll be their history. Oh. Spurs should go and get Mitoma. Tell the truth.
Wow.
Most probably Brighton will want 60 million for Mitoma, or 50 million for Mitoma.
Yep.
And Daniel Levy will never pay 50 million for Mitoma. Oh. Nah, it's out. Free kick. Surprisingly, right? One yellow card. We've passed over 100 over minutes now. One yellow card. Maybe the game is too nice.
Or the referees being a bit lenient because there have been some tackles.
Yeah, there'll be a few tackles. Yeah.
But if he has been allowing the game to flow, then good on him, because you don't want to see the game being stopped willy-nilly for tackles and more bookings being dished.
Yeah, and then every time you take a booking, right, it eats into injury time. Maybe that's why there's so little injury time in this game. Unless it's really a bad injury that happens, right? Right. Oh, Steak says he prefers Sosa than Mitoma. Yeah, but we'll never get Sosa. Too expensive. Referees are lenient the whole tournament. To be honest, England have got 0 yellow cards in 4 games. Seriously? England has not gotten any yellow cards in all the games? Gosh. So I guess Croatia will be the team now that's trying to get goal for the win, right?
Well, could be. I mean, obviously, what's happening now is that the goalkeeper's being tested.
Yeah, Sosa most probably possibly 30 mil. Yeah. Anything above 15 million is too expensive for Levy. All right. But don't worry. Most probably in January transfer window, we'll get him a loan with obligation to buy. That's what Spurs like to do.
Could
Get
be.
them in a loan and get obligation to buy. At least the goalkeeper did something good this time.
Yep. Yeah. Sir, listen, I'm going to have to just be away from the keyboard for a couple of minutes, but I
All
will
right,
be
no
back.
problem. No problem. Honey is going off to get some food to eat, if I'm not mistaken. Right. And what Reload says now is that Croatia have got big stage experience, shootouts, winning them, so they should have the edge, you think? Yeah. And Croatia, not sure about Croatia, I mean Japan's history. Now, I don't think they've ever been in any kind of knockout situations for Japanese history in the World Cup, right? And what does Steak says? Ndombele wasn't too expensive for Levy. Yep, Ndombele was a panic buy for Levy, right? So that's what I think. Levy always panic buys, right? When he's forces into a situation, he panic buys and he buys not very good players. Whenever you panic buy. Okay, it's gonna be a long throw, wipe it dry. Let's see how far he can throw this. All right, Japan's going to counter attack. I guess Japan has gone into a counter attack mode. I guess Japan is still pressuring Croatians. The Croatians are still like dominating the game, trying to get the goal. Nope. Too far out. Too far out. Right. The Celso was a panic buy too. Yeah. We all Spurs is very famous for the panic buys. Right. Reload says Levy thought he was getting a 22 in double A for 65 and selling 3 years later for 150. And Bill, yeah, he thought. Yeah, that's what he always thinks, right? Why do you think? Oh, oh, no, no, no. On the hose on. Here we go again. While Japan does this, right? Hopefully in last 5-10 minutes, or I think we got another 5 more minutes of extra time. We're heading down for penalties. Looking like we're gonna do penalties on Spurs Region TV. Right. You should be looking at Dikovic, Loris replacement. Honestly, I wouldn't mind the Dutch goalkeeper, Norbert. Right. Norbert looks good. Right. And what does Relo says? Orsic, the Spurs destroyer, RIP. Seriously? RIP? Orsic passed away? Let's check. Orsic. Oh, come on. This is what happens when you're not Orsic. 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 Croatian football player. Okay, he didn't die. Okay. No, commander just mentioned him and I remembered it. Okay. All right. He's just 29 years old, right? Is he playing today? Orsic is on the pitch, maybe. Okay. All right, reload. Gave me a scare there. Still 1-1. 4 more minutes or so to go. In extra time plus extra time added on time. Let's see, any of teams can pick up something. Hi, Steak.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, how you doing? Had your steak yet?
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. And somehow, on Spurs region, it always has to end up long and tedious, and we'll end up with a penalty, right? uh, right. But at least Perisic scored. Did you see the goal?
Oh yeah, yeah. Amazing header.
Yeah, so far out, right? But Mani feels that the Japanese goalkeeper wasn't tall enough to reach the header. Yeah,
Well, no, you should be positioning yourself better.
yeah. But it was a good header. Had
Yeah.
enough power on it, and somehow or
Imagine if
another,
Emerson did that.
Emerson. Uh, uh, and so another taking off Perisic and Modric. Croatia has become more attacking, Mani.
Yes, but the problem is time is not on their side. They now have only 2 minutes
Yeah,
plus any extra time stoppages.
it's
And
going to penalties, right? Can't score that header for Spurs because he's going to cross the ball. Yeah, Kane drifting in the wing. Yeah, unless Kane drifts into the wing. That's true, unless Kane gives it to him. All right, but
No
they're
matter
still
what
the
we,
happens.
we don't have our right wing backs to do that.
No, you put Perisic off the right and have Sessignon off the left.
Perisic is still on the pitch? No.
No, he's off. He's off. He's
I
off.
know. I thought you meant to talk about Tottenham.
No, I know, but I'm saying, why is the commentator calling Perisic's name?
I don't know. I have the commentators on mute.
Okay.
Yeah, they're on mute for me too. It's the only way that I can, take part in the conversation. And I think they're still talking about the goal he scored, and also how Dalic was a little bit. I wouldn't say. I don't know if you could say jumping the gun, but certainly he's bitten off a bit more than he can chew by taking off his two of his best penalty takers.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. The Japanese player is down because the ball hitting his head. So is there a concussion stop coming on? All right, he stepped up. I guess there's going to be at least 2 minutes of added time on extra time.
After this World Cup, Gvardio's going to be like 100 million minimum.
Yeah.
No, just the 1 minute added on. Just the 1 minute.
1 minute added on.
You get the feeling that this attack will be the last one.
I'm at 3
Croatia have
minutes
to
behind.
make this count.
Yeah, Guardiola. Right. So it's just a tactical masterclass, right? Get a hit injury for another stop. Maybe. Trying to get a hit injury for another stop.
Well, that should be it, you think, because now. Yeah, completely was sent that wide. No chance of scoring there. And it won't be long before the referee blows his whistle. I really hate penalty shootouts. I really do.
Yeah.
I mean, the only times we've ever had joy
No.
from when I can remember were in Euro 96 and in obviously Russia 2008. That's 18 rather.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me started on the Euro final. That was horrible.
But sometimes the penalty shootout is really exciting, right? To see how they actually, I don't know, the tension is there, the mental part is there. And with this kind of extra time and, whatever is going to happen.
No, penalty shootout just makes me go insane.
Yeah.
Right.
Have they been preparing for penalties, though? That's the big question. Because now one of these teams will be going out. It could very well be.
Oh, it's over? So I guess it's over then. We're going to penalty shootout.
Still got the 1 minute left.
No. The referee blew his whistle.
Yeah. No, but on my BC, it's still saying 1 minute left.
Are you watching on the iPlayer?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's like horrible on my computer because it's like way behind everything else. But whenever I go on the TV, it's like I'm further ahead than people in the stadium.
Mate, listen, I mean, I know how you feel because I was doing a watch along with a friend of mine. Yeah, he had joined in and I was doing some commentary, but he was so far behind, he couldn't keep up. So he decided, you know what, I can't watch on the iPlayer anymore. I can't be a part of the commentary, but it is what it is. And,
You mean by the iPlayer?
What did you say?
The iPlayer? You mean the BBC iPlayer?
Yeah, the BBC one.
I don't think I can get that here. That's not another. I get it from my cable provider, so I guess it's okay. But now it's penalty. Who's going to take the penalties? And they didn't change the goalkeeper. Nani?
Well, for some reason, I'm watching advertisements, so I think Moriyasu has put his trust in Gonda.
Yeah.
For Croatia, I think Stakic is going to take the first penalty.
Yeah. Somehow or another, my provider has got their own team of the local guys and some ex players that comes on. And who do I have here now? Can't remember this guy. Let me figure out.
Is it Emerson Royale's dad or something?
I don't think so. Emerson Royal's that. Right. Let's see that. Wouldn't mind if they let the managers pick the 11 penalty takers from one squad, but the top man stop the managers having carried extra time actually try to win the game. No, that's what they remember. We were talking about the golden goal and silver goal rules when we were having it last time. This was the thing, right? To eliminate all this boring half an hour that we had to go through before we go to penalties. There's only other way that we do this, right? If the game ends in 0-0, just send it straight into penalties and let it be over with. All right.
Yeah.
I've got Paul Robinson. I remember Paul Robinson. Who's the other guy and who's the other guy? Let me figure out. Yeah. But I've been saying, right, penalties is more due to the penalty taker missing the penalty than more than the goalkeeper saving the penalty, right? Unless the penalty is really bad. All right. Who is going to take the penalties?
Looks as though it might be Japan who's starting first.
Yep. Yoshida is still there. Okay.
Yeah, because Minamino is running up.
Minamino will take the penalty.
Did he miss or score the winner penalty for Liverpool?
Yeah, basically irrelevant, right? That's why I say maybe we just should go straight to penalties if you can't settle the game. Oh, one of the commentators is Ramon Vega. I got Ramon Vega here. Wasn't Ramon Vega a Spurs player?
I think I've heard that name somewhere before.
Let me think. And I've got Luis Saha. I've got Paul Robinson, Ramon Vega, and Luis Saha.
Right.
What a trio.
Yeah. Minamino actually scored the fourth penalty in the shootout in the 2020 Community Shield against Arsenal. But and the first penalty's just been never mind. No spoilers. Out of respect to both my esteemed companions.
Dear. Minamino misses it. I'm sure that's why Mani's acting like that, right?
Yeah, he scored the fourth penalty in that match, but Liverpool lost, and
he's missed the first one here.
Minamino wasn't in the matchday squad for the FA Cup final either.
And he kicks it straight at the goalkeeper. What the hell's wrong with him?
No, Will Stewart would probably say that's a better penalty than Keynes versus Forest.
Minamino.
Gee, it's so behind. Like they're still talking to the goalkeepers.
I'm going to the second penalty, and most probably now Mani is already the second penalty is taken already by Mani, and it's gone in because Mani didn't have any reaction, and that's the penalty, right?
Watch and see for yourself, sir.
Yeah, 1-0. But like history, like Reload says, right? Croatia has got the better history in penalty taking, so.
Right. Just seeing the first penalty, that's poor.
Nah, I think Japan can't do this penalty shootout thing because they've never been through it before. So and they're gonna miss
but
the
they
next
should
one.
be doing that in training.
Oh, another one got saved. It'll be early. It'll be over early, right? Croatia scores the next 2-3 penalties, right? It's over.
No, they just need to. If Japan miss and Croatia score the next one, then it's over. Yeah. It could be over before you say.
It's over.
Yeah, it could be over before you say Shuichi Gonda.
Yeah.
Shuichi Gonda.
Yeah, that means it's over already. Right. Textbook. Right. Reload says Minamo. Yeah. Not a cat, but the dog. Oh, straight down the line. Oh. That's another very clever penalty. Yeah. Konda dives and he puts it right in the center. And I guess Japan can't score any of the penalties looking at Mani's face.
No, I'm trying not to spoil it for you, sir.
Oh, you're just wondering. Nah, I know he misses another one. If he saves 3 penalties in the World Cup, there'll be like a Oh, okay. All right. Asano gets this one. All right. So Japan is still in it. Japan is still in
Yes,
it.
they are.
They're still in it. Right.
Every penalty save is an extra 10 million to the price value for Daniel Levy to spend.
Oh. All right. Now let's see what Croatia
I
can do.
mean,
If we can...
you either see some inspired stuff or you see some absolute rubbish in these shootouts at times.
Yeah. Don't tell me Konda saved this one. Oh, he misses. All right. Japan can claw one back.
Man,
But this has been so far a dreadful exhibition of penalty taking. And I think what you've said about it being either the ineptitude of the penalty taker or the brilliance of the goalkeeper so far has been the ineptitude of the penalty takers.
Yeah, I've been
It's
telling you, right?
ridiculous.
oh
Right.
my God.
And Yoshida is going to miss this. Watch it. He saved 3 penalties in the World Cup.
Imagine having 4 penalties in a row,
No, this is
only
not a miss,
scoring
you know.
one.
This is a save. You get it, or not?
Yeah, no, but
I
it's a
mean-
penalty. You have the whole goal to aim at except the centre.
That was utterly awful. And I think
Oh, what is that?
now I can turn on the commentary.
I've just seen
That means
Marco's goal.
Croatia is true then.
Yep, and Japan are out.
Imagine winning a
Oh.
penalty shootout with like only 4 what's actually gone in.
It's over. Croatia is true.
It's like
Yeah,
mad.
yeah.
Japan should have replaced their goalkeeper. Seriously.
I know that's what you said earlier, right?
Yes,
but to tell the
because
truth, but you can't blame the goalkeeper because it's basically
He got
like,
one
how to say,
save. He got
no, that
he
wasn't a
didn't
save.
save
No,
one.
no,
Look at
He
miss.
the
didn't
goal.
save it.
Yeah,
That was
but it's-
also another stupidly taken penalty where he just thought he could just stroll it in. He tried to be
Yeah.
too clever and it went off the post. Gonda didn't even touch the ball.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, if it was on target, maybe he would have saved it. But it wasn't even on target, right? So can't give the goalkeeper the credit. But guys, right? 3 hours and 15 minutes, right? So, Manny, thanks for accompanying me, right? On
No,
this
you're welcome, sir. You're welcome. Anytime I get
this
to come along
long,
with you as someone
long,
who
long
also
show, right?
yeah, anytime I
Yeah,
get to come
yeah.
along on the stream with you, it's an absolute treat. You understand I have been busy during this entire World Cup, but
Yeah, I
you
know
know,
you've been very
we,
busy.
we get we get to talk about a lot of things. And
Yeah.
who's there in the chat? I didn't catch your name.
You mean chats or in the state?
Oh,
I'm
Yeah,
Steak.
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
He's state.
Alexander Hilton. I'll remember
Yes.
you now.
Yeah, steak. But
Stay.
of course, but good to have steak on also in the last part to see the penalties turn out to be,
Yeah.
inept penalty taking. Like
Yeah,
what?
in American Sign Language, this is the sign you use for steak. You sort of use your dominant hand to put your finger and thumb on this fat part of your hand right here. That's what steak means.
Okay, that was
Okay.
steak.
That's
Oh.
in ASL. I'm not too sure what it is in BSL. I'll have to look that up.
But guys, thanks for coming on. Steak, thanks for coming on. But before we head off, right? Let's say a big shout out to all the guys in the chats, right? Reload, thanks for staying the whole show, right? Big up to you, Lisa, right? Hope so all is well in Mexico, right? Who else do we have, right? Most probably it's just Reload, and of course, Steak is here with us right now, right? And who else do we have? Who else was earlier? Chuan Yan. Yeah, I forgot about Chuan Yan. Yeah. Chuan Yao. Where's Chuan Yao? Right. Ben. Yes, Ben. Thanks for being on too. Colin was on for a while. Catman Jazz, thanks for support. Chuan Yao, right? Chuan Yao's based in the UK, right? And I'm mistaken, he's not a Spurs fan. I think he's an Arsenal fan. But guys, thanks for being on, right? And of course, Japanese steak. Huh? Alex, why you
Yeah.
or Kobe? Why you or Kobe?
Kobe.
Kobe steak is good, right? Right. Right. And what do you say? What Rilo says that you can whoever you want, right? In the Japanese goal, right? You couldn't make four
Both.
penalties. Yeah, miss four
Yeah,
penalties.
true.
Like that.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I
But
mean,
any last thoughts, right? Okay. Prediction for the
that
South Korea and Brazil's game. Money.
3-2 to the Seleção.
Okay. Steak.
3-0 Brazil, and probably Richarlison with 2 goals again
Mm.
to do his pigeon
Ah,
celebration.
for me, I really, really want South Korea to actually go
Yeah, I
through.
think
But
everyone else does, but it's not going to happen.
yeah, yeah, I know. But
No,
the thing is that
you never know. You never know. I mean, obviously, if Son finds some inspiration, he could have another big run. We'll see.
Yeah, but
we'll
is he
see.
going to
We'll
score
see.
like a hat trick? I don't
Yeah.
think so.
You're not gonna score hat tricks on against Brazil. Come on, right? Unless
Or
Brazil.
maybe if he's attacking Dani Alves on his side of the
Mm.
pitch, then maybe.
No, the only way, right? South Korea will beat Brazil, right? Brazil most probably had some kind of big
They
diarrhea,
recalled David Luiz.
no, some kind of big illness that went through the squad, and they're all actually playing at 50% capacity. That's all I see it, right? But of course, I want South Korea to win. I'm Asian, right? And I want Sunny to win, but I guess that's a far, right? Fetch kind of thing. But guys, thanks for being on. Thanks for all you guys in the chats, right? For the support. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe, right? If not, give a like on the channel, right? And Money, maybe I'm not even sure we'll be doing another watch along on the World Cup, but maybe I'll be doing some shows on Monday because there are no World Cup matches on Monday. Maybe the next show we go on, we'll talk about transfer windows and
Yeah,
just
look
go through
forward
the
to
World
that.
Cup
Look
one.
forward to that.
Yeah,
Definitely,
maybe I'll plan
definitely. I
something
mean,
like that,
yep,
right?
it's been
Or
good fun. Definitely.
yeah, unless I rush back home on Sunday night, right, just to do the World Cup final. But it's the World Cup final. I'd rather watch it than do a watch along. Right now, that's how I feel. And especially if England is on the World Cup final, let's see what happens.
No, for me, if there's an opportunity to do a watch along, I would not refuse to do it, especially not for
Yeah.
a World Cup final. And Hannah will tell you that we were doing some coverage of the cricket together, and that was really
Ah.
good fun, especially watching the final of that between England and Pakistan. That made me so happy.
England lost, right?
No, they won.
England won the 20 T20
Yep.
ODI. Oh,
Yep.
oh, they won in the end. They won, right? But guys, thanks for being on. And like usual, yeah, just be careful while I do this. Your ears
Steak.
and as always, leave you out.
Staken.